All right. I do believe that we are finally live, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the LEVSTREAM Art Stream. I am your humble host, Lev Polyaka. Follow me on Twitter at LevPo. We have the great Yerk Pool joining us today at PYeerk on Twitter. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, we got Giovanni Panicietti, who is doing
Uh,
another beautiful work of craftsmanship today. We got Monoxus joining us, and
What's
later on
going
we're
on?
gonna have the meme bastard, the mass bastard, risen again, risen from the dead, and we are going to be fully supporting him, rising with his old account, hopefully, possibly. But either way, I just want to give ultimate blessings upon all the fallen warriors out there, and everybody's going to be revived at the end of days to fight the final battle. Anyway, we're also going to
time for
have
the final
Catherine
battle.
Brodsky. Yes, we're also going to have
Magic
Catherine
missile.
Brodsky
Magic
joining us
missile.
joining us as well. And Alexander, is Charles set to come back at some point? Absolutely. He is definitely going to come back. We just have to coordinate how exactly this is all going to be done. We're going to have a lot of very interesting people coming on BTR, including Brittany Venti. Brittany Venti is coming
Oh no.
Thursday. Oh yes. Oh yes, Gio. Thursday, May
Oh.
27th. Brittany Venti. Finally, about time she's coming, and we're gonna have her friend Jessix joining us, as well as Verse Laloon, as well
Oh
as
god. Oh
MK,
no.
as well as
That's
MK
gonna be a
Ultra
fucking
Buddy.
disaster.
No, it's not. Verse is nice. Verse is gentleman. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking
Oh.
about, Gio. So anyway, before we get to Yerk, Gio, you are working on something very interesting today.
Yeah,
Can you
I'm
tell the
doing
good
like a
people about it?
super. Wait, let me, because I have to like
Yes.
switch between, like looking into the viewfinder, looking into my thing.
Here
But
we
I'm
go. Oh,
basically.
and we got Faustina. By the way, we got Faustina in the chat.
Oh.
Welcome, Faustina. Great to see you here.
Hey.
And we got Charles Kahn, and we got over here. Let's see, who else do we have here? Oh, we got Catherine Brodsky. Catherine, you are back with us. Thank you so much for being here, Catherine. And let's take a look at what Gio's working on here. So
Thank-
Gio,
Okay, so
do your
this.
thing. And by the way,
All
nobody
right.
interrupt Gio. Nobody interrupt
Oh,
Gio
shit.
because
Hi,
this is how the
guys.
camera works.
Viewfinder.
This is how the camera works. The camera's gonna switch to whoever says something.
Yeah.
So don't interrupt Gio. Here we go.
Oh shit. No, so basically, in my neck of the woods in Ontario, they have a place called A Thousand Islands. I think that's where the dressing came from. But this is just like you can't tell right now because it's like I can see it, but it's not very clear. But you have like and if you like pay like I don't know $200 a night or some shit, you can like stay in one of these townhouses they have there. And it's like this little like there's these little houses on these islands, and it's quite touristy. I don't know if like they probably got fucked over because of what's going on right now, but no. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing another wood engraving, and I just actually bought a new set of engravers, which cost me a pretty penny. So hopefully like my sketch isn't too terrible because I have to just switch. I keep things like pretty loose so I could like when I'm cutting, it's like all about the feel of it. So, yeah.
Well, Gio, imagine if you will, you going to the Thousand Island hotel and them giving you the Thousand Island treatment, which would involve
Oh.
putting like a whole like several gallons of Thousand Island dressing in the bathtub, and then you go into
Oh
the
my
bathtub.
god. Love you and your fantasies, bro. Like it's unnatural.
It's only a fantasy if it doesn't come true, Gio. You know, I believe the dreams can come true. So anyway, what I'm working on today, I am finishing this thing up finally. The NFT. I don't have that much to go for. This is Muskull. This is what he calls himself. This guy in the jester hat with the tongue sticking out like Kali. You can see he has his friends over here who are watching him, including this big-breasted chicken man over here. And I'm doing some additionals here. I'm gonna do the black dragons today. I'm gonna color in and outline thicker the blowfish. The reason why the blowfish are not thickly outlined over here is I'm gonna turn them into their own NFTs. This is basically my master plan, ladies and gentlemen. I'm taking aspects of this drawing, like this big one, and I'll turn them into individual NFTs, you know, to save time. So anyway, this Muskulls is gonna be finished soon, but if you guys want to look at all the other NFTs that I have, I'm gonna put the links in the chat to Super Rare and Known Origin. And guys, go there and buy my NFTs Invest in Lev. You know what we're talking
Invest in
about here.
Lev.
Hashtag invest in Lev, exactly. And here we go. So, oh, and by the way, we got Stain Haynes, 718TV joining us as well. Thank you so much for coming in, Stain Haynes.
Thanks for
and,
having me on. Good afternoon, ladies and jerks.
Thank you for being here, buddy. And let's get this on the road. So, PYeerk, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your journey. You are currently in school, right?
Yeah, I'm doing a master's. But it's from home, so I'm not like physically attending anything at the moment.
Was it always from home? Or
no,
was
that's because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I live a pretty relaxed life. I like post and read and very slowly make progress on this thesis project. But I mean, that's not really very that's like developing very, very slowly. I really do most of my real writing on Twitter.
Damn, you're lucky. When I did my master's, I had to physically go there and fucking humiliate myself. So.
What about yourself, Catherine? Wait, I don't even know if you have a master's degree or not. Do you, Catherine?
Master's degree? Does it count if I got it from my cult, Catherineology?
Of course it does.
Of course.
How about me?
I have a PhD in that.
I have a bastard's degree.
Oh, is that Charles?
Yeah, what's happening, Gio?
What's up, guys? Charles Khan?
Yeah, punish Charles.
Punish Charles.
The most evil man in the world.
A Ninja Turtle denied his pizza. That's what you are right now, Charles.
Yeah.
But I hope that we can get the Twitter account back. I mean, you could just tell us, do we need to write Twitter? Is that going to help? I tried doing that for Metaphor Man before.
I think it's done. I think it's a done deal.
What did you say that caused you to be, banned?
It wasn't hateful content. It wasn't anything bad. It was a Trump meme of him. Here, I'll just play the audio right here on live stream and get others.
Well, wouldn't any Trump meme?
Yeah.
It's the Tokyo Ghoul. It's the Tokyo Ghoul, that song, the one where he's crying, and it's a meme of Trump locking his Twitter account and changing his avatar to a crying guy.
Well, wouldn't any Trump meme qualify as being hateful, regardless?
I mean, depending upon
Isn't that the rule?
On Twitter, yeah. If you post anything about Trump on Twitter, you're probably going to get hit with something. I'm pretty sure.
I'm a little bit confused. Was this a pro-Trump or an anti-Trump tweet? I can't tell.
Well, the way I did it, I didn't really have an opinion at the time. Maybe it was a little more pro-Trump than anti-Trump, but I think it was certainly at his expense of him crying and locking his account. That was the gag.
I'd like to believe that there's got to be some there's automated stuff that looks out for such things, but I'd like to believe some desk jockey saw what Charlie posted and went, nah, the ADL's gonna find out about this. And then unfortunately Charlie Khan's got to place New Game Plus.
There's one screenshot I have of something I said, the ADL said somebody was a hate group that wasn't. I think they called Juggalos a hate group, something like that. and I wrote and I said, well, how do we know that the ADL's not a hate group and hasn't been this entire time?
They are a hate group. They are approved by the establishment.
I mean, to be fair to the ADL, they did go after this senior, the head Sephardic rabbi back in the day of Israel, who was, he was definitely one of the top contenders for the 4chan, image posts, with the rabbi and the quote next to him type of thing, the way that he saw non-Jews. So the ADL went after that guy too, despite him being Jewish.
Fuck.
So I just wanted to throw out.
I don't know a whole lot. I just made a joke. I don't really care. I don't have a dog in the fight. I've known many great Jewish people in my life. As you all know, I am a lifelong die-hard Three Stooges fan. let's talk about Mel Brooks. Mel
And
Brooks.
Shem
Yeah.
Howard today.
No, that
Bonus
already
Stooge.
qualifies you to gain entry into Israel, to become an Israeli citizen. All you have to do is profess your love of the
Yeah.
Three Stooges
And
Mel Brooks.
also
I've
Marx Brothers. All the Marx Brothers were also
Yes.
Jewish.
I've always wanted to have something to that effect, where like, you know, have a bunch of self-identifying radical, like 1488 kind of people, and be like, all right, if you laugh once in the next hour of watching these clips of Blazing Saddles and History of the World Part 1, all you have to do is laugh once, and you have to give your membership card back. And
Man,
one of my
Blazing Saddles would kill people.
One of my favorite paintings of all time.
You guys
is,
know there's a remake of Blazing Saddles happening, right?
Don't
Oh,
break
is
my
there?
heart like this, Charlie. Don't do this.
Don't joke about
Oh
that.
no.
It's being remade as a children's cartoon featuring dogs and cats.
What?
Oh, god damn it.
Why?
I can't tell if
Wow.
you're joking.
I'm not joking. This
Wow.
happened in another group chat that I'm in.
Oh, for
They
fuck's sake.
thought, oh, Charlie, are you just fucking with us? Because for some reason, I have this reputation that I'm a stinker and would say outrageous things for a laugh. Never
You?
once.
No.
Never once have I said anything to get a rise out of somebody.
but Charlie, part of the problem is that like when you see men in masks, you assume the worst. But when you see a guy in a mask going, "Hey fellas, what's going on?" Like, it throws people for a loop.
It doesn't
So,
help
like-
that you call yourself masked bastard either.
Yeah, that's
So Yerk, what is the profession that you want to get into, and what is this degree that you're aiming for here, and the papers that you're writing? Can you tell
Lev,
us a little
nobody
bit
with
more about that?
masters has professions anymore. I know from experience.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just probably just like a writer or something. The I don't know. It's all about like something I kind of talk about on Twitter a lot, which I refer to as like the management of sentiment, and like how that's kind of evolved through like identity politics and things like that, and just like the sort of like intellectual and historical roots of that idea, and the sort of like origin of that in like early sociology and early social psychology and things like that. I haven't really like wrapped it all together into a kind of like neat plan for a thesis yet. And I normally just end up like, you know, I write these like threads on Twitter about things and kind of develop my ideas that way. So at some point I'm going to have to go back across the whole thing and like isolate a sort of like coherent kind of structured argument out of everything I've written, which is going to be a big task.
Would you say it's something that would get you into trouble with the academia?
I am a bit worried about that, but I don't know. I'm sort of like pushing my luck. I think I can kind of like, you know, I think I have like a sort of like valid argument to make, and I can like phrase it in a way that is sort of like, you know, like I'll be drawing on people like Foucault, for example, probably to some extent. You know,
Gio's favorite.
Yeah, so like there's already a kind of like degree of legitimacy granted to the ideas I want to talk about. It's just like putting them together into a full picture.
Well, can you give us an example of one particular idea that you think would be pretty spicy with the people that are going to be exposed to it? But before that, I just want to quickly say, guys, if you want to support this, streamlabs.com/LevPolyakov, right in the bottom of the screen here. Go there, send me some money so we can keep doing this. Thank you very much.
Invest in Lev, ladies and jerks.
Invest in Lev, exactly. Oh, and also one more thing. Philip Daniel says, who is recovering from the second COVID shot, I think I have side effects from the second dose of the Pfizer vaccine taken yesterday evening. Well, you know what? That may mean that your immune system's working. I mean, see how you feel tomorrow. But the last comment from Philip. Rabbi Ovadia Yosef. Seraphim, Mizrahim tend to be more politically conservative than Ashkenazim in Israel and outnumber them almost 3-1 in Israel, reverse of the diaspora. So yeah, that is exactly the guy who I was thinking of here. He looked pretty, you know, like kind of like Yoda. He reminded me of Yoda for some reason. I'll show you a picture of him later.
Is that the one rabbi who has like the tinted shades?
Yeah, that's the guy.
I got you.
Doesn't he look like Yoda a little bit? You know, with little arms.
He
Flapping.
does kind of look like, well, like when you play an RPG and you're like, oh no, you were a non-human all along. You just like disguised yourself with your teeny tiny like Cabbage Patch arms.
Oh God.
But PYeerk, I have a question in regards to your masters. Because Chinese lung herpes has everything on lockdown. Obviously, this doesn't allow you to travel to the library. So like I remember when I was going for my masters, I had to spend a lot of weekends at the CUNY library going over like case studies because like I majored in economics. So like I had to read like case studies. I had to look at the thesis of what the hell is the plural of thesis? Theses.
Theses, yeah.
There you go. The theses of other people and like take notes and then like what were they sourcing from and like there was a lot more legwork than I care to admit. So for you, like, is this a roadblock for your pursuits, or is there a way to get around this?
Yeah, I mean, I basically just pirate a lot of stuff from Z Library.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
LibGen saved my life.
LibGen. Woo!
But it's funny, it sounds a lot. How old are you, PYeerk, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 28.
Oh fuck, you're the same age as me, so I can't do the whole back in my day. Wow. Okay, so I was about I think 25 when I did 26 or something when I did my second MA. My first was in philosophy, but the second one was more relevant because
I'll
you
be
sound
right back, fellas.
Yeah, you sound a lot like the stuff I was doing. What I did was I was basically trying to take the middle period of Michel Foucault and graft him onto a lot of, like, I guess you would call them like reactionary thinkers, like Oakeshott, de Maistre, and I think I bit off more than I could chew at the time, and I was going through some stuff, so I was kind of lowballed in terms of my grade, but whatever. And then certainly I should really visit that material. I haven't visited in years, but it sounds like, I used to tell this to people years ago that you could sort of get away with less than optical things if you sort of know what you're doing in a sense, and if you know like the right things to say. And I don't know, it's do you want to elaborate? Like I'm curious to hear your I know it's not formulated yet, and I'm assuming you probably have a bit more time because you're entering the summer period.
Yeah.
But do you have some like sort of? Do you think that the stuff that you're posting on Twitter, it'll be sort of like an extension of what you're doing?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, and I think there is like a kind of there's a certain like I don't know, like academic register that I feel like writing in just gives you a certain amount of like it sort of carries a certain amount of inherent legitimacy with it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to like make use of that. It's something I'm aware of definitely when I write. It's really just like a certain like register of tone. And I think as long as you're able to sort of like source ideas and discuss them seriously, I don't know. I mean, my tutors are people that I like and respect, even though I'd say they're a bit more kind of normie than me. And I think they are kind of intellectually curious in my ideas. But I mean, I don't know. I'm seeing. We'll see how far it goes. It's hard for me to judge a little bit, really, like how controversial what I'm saying will be.
Exactly.
Well, if you had to pick one particular thing that you would say may be controversial, what would it be? But also, real quick, we got a super chat, $5 donation, no message whatsoever from what I was able to see. Woo! from Cat Girl Milk, aka the Cat Girl Milk and Yogurt Company.
Hey,
so
Catherine, muchas gracias.
Catherine, would this be a company that you would trust to buy your milk from? The Cat Girl Milk and Yogurt Company.
No. I also
Why not?
drink milk, so there is also that.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah.
Catherine, is it because you're lactose intolerant, or you just don't like it?
I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it. I'm probably a little lactose intolerant as well, but I think I had a traumatic experience involving milk in my childhood, and so ever since then, I'm disgusted by it.
Oh, what's the experience?
Well, of course, you want to know the PTSD.
A traumatic experience with milk makes it seem like a not as delicious Willy Wonka mishap. Like,
Don't you know that's an insensitive question to ask someone with PTSD what their PTSD was caused by? How dare
Charles,
you? We're gonna have to cancel you. You're
I hate to bring
canceled.
this up.
Charles Con, kind bastard.
Pre-canceled before they came on here, so I think that's the requirement for love.
Yeah.
Charles, I gotta say this. When I was digging the garden this morning, I'm not done yet, but I couldn't stop thinking about what you said the last stream.
What did I say last time? I said
no, because What Up
stuff. I went so hard.
Yeah, like me too. But What Up? They're like, well, I guess I wouldn't joke about like sexual assault survivors or whatever, and you just came out of the blue. You're like, well, they already been fucked. So it's like,
Ave Maria.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
man.
I can't believe this. I mean, I feel bad because
I really am a bastard.
No,
yes, I will agree with that statement.
I feel bad because Catherine's a legit journalist, and PYeerk is one of the foremost, unironically, Twitter intellectuals, and I'm very excited. And so I'm kind of ruining it with bullshit.
I stream Dungeons and Dragons all the time, so yeah.
We're gonna have to get
Twitter intellectual, like it's an oxymoron, no?
Oh no! Oh fuck! No, but seriously, I think that oh my god.
We're gonna have to get Mass Bastard together with like the Joint Chiefs of Staff or like somebody from. We're gonna work our way up to like the levels.
Oh yeah, like there's gonna be some dude who's like, yeah, I got 17 years experience in DARPA. Ask me anything. And then Charles Khan is like, how real is Metal Gear Solid 2? Like,
no.
On a scale from 1 to 2,
I would ask
how
them.
true?
I would ask them: has anyone tried to sexually assault the DARPA robots?
Oh God! By the way, speaking.
Do the Boston Dynamic robots get busy with one another when the doors close?
They have one that actually eats bioorganic material to replenish itself.
Ooh,
that's amazing.
I wonder if someone stuck their bird in that one yet.
Probably.
By the way, speaking of Metal Gear Solid,
wasn't that a Westworld plot where they're
wait, hold on.
I guess we're gonna follow robots.
Hold on.
Okay,
Metal Gear.
So here's where we got coming up this Tuesday. We have Break the Rules, the Future of Governance, Liberty and Order. So speaking of Metal Gear Solid, we're going to have this with World Economic Forum tech pioneer Mark Terrell and Garrett Jones, author of 10% Less Democracy, talking about the future of governance with Indian Bronson and the Prudentialist. And of course, Gio and myself are going to be there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But do you notice the logo over here? Do you guys recognize in the chat this logo with the hand and the earth? You know where that's from?
Where? I'm drawing a blank. But then again, I'm an uncultured slob who lives under a rock with Wi-Fi, so...
Okay, so that logo is from Deus Ex. It is the symbol... It is the symbol
the
of...
The UNATCO symbol, right?
No, not UNATCO. Majestic 12.
This guy over here.
I know, I just think there's something really fun about having the symbol of Majestic 12 for a stream where we have like a legit World Economic Forum person on.
Now,
you know?
I got a question. At what point does someone go from crank conspiracy theorist to legitimate journalist? Where does that line? What is the line?
I don't know. Catherine, where's the line?
The question is, there is no line. Wait,
I'll say speculative journalist. Because there's such a thing as people who write about things that could be
facts.
Or that sort of stuff, yeah.
Well, the answer is facts, okay? Because I think conspiracy theories are only conspiracies until they've got enough facts to be more than a conspiracy. So if you're just writing things based on like we can tell it, weak data and
you need documents, you need photographs.
Yeah,
Infowars.com, they have them both.
You need footage.
yeah,
Footage
but
of
where are
Charlie
they
Khan.
getting, right?
There's
Footage of
also-
Charlie Khan
Yeah.
getting chased off.
There's also
Area
like the
51.
interpretation of facts though, and the sort of
Yeah.
like degree of moral
Yeah.
urgency.
Yeah,
To
you
which,
can
you know-
manipulate just about anything. You know,
Well, and
I
that's
heard
a
70% of
problem
people are
with
full of
journalism, but
shit.
that's not- well, that's a problem with journalism. But that's not how it should be approached, right? I think there should be like a very methodical way of doing this. And so you can take something that may seem like a conspiracy theory, and it is a conspiracy theory unless you've approached it in like a very methodical way. The fact that journalists don't necessarily always do that is problematic, but you know.
Yeah,
You know, I was
I think,
watching. Oh, go ahead, Charles.
Oh, I think that's why I like the approach that Aiden does to things. Aiden Paladin, she cites all her sources. She's very
Can
on
we mention
point.
her again, or is that never mind? Don't worry.
Then, well, all right, I'll mention the egg guy. Steven, what was his name? He got banned off of everything. Like people called him names. All his videos were like him in front of like a blue screen with text on it, and then he would cite all his sources, and he would try.
Ryan, what's the guy?
Stefan Molyneux, I think.
Oh,
was the
Molyneux.
fella's
Oh.
name. Yeah.
Molly meme, in other
I
words.
thought you
Yeah.
meant Ryan Dawson.
Egg
Not an
guy.
argument. Not an
He's
argument.
a big. He's a big
What's-
guy.
What's the
for
egg
you.
connection with Molly meme?
The women with the eggs was his big thing. That was the big meme with
Oh,
him.
that's right. Yeah. He's like
Ah.
obsessed with like declining fertility or something.
Yeah.
That's
There's
his,
a couple
go-to.
of there's a couple of egg people out there. So there's Molly meme, there's Eggy, Eggman, and then there's also Jeffrey
he's cool.
Epstein.
Yeah.
There's also Jeffrey Epstein who has the
Oh my
egg-shaped penis.
God.
So
There's
No,
there,
It's
there's
not
a,
like a
there's a lot
like
going
a
on
great
with that
group
dude.
sphere.
Like
Who could be associated with? Yeah.
just like the kookiness of Alex Jones. Like the people who take everything he says at face value and believe it. The QAnon.
Well, they do. It does become true after a while.
Right, on a long
Yeah.
enough timeline, all the crazy, like the chimeras. The news
I mean,
story came out the
oh,
other
yeah.
day about that.
He'll print anything he finds. So if you send out 10 crazy stories, eventually one of them's gonna be fucking true.
Well,
Just a
Yeah,
matter
no,
of time.
this is true.
Yeah, that
but
would be
there's
a
also
real-
this thing of like, Alex Jones will talk about like people creating like human animal hybrids and
The
stuff. because
chimeras.
Yeah, because he's like really, crazy and angry about it. It's like very easy to just assume that like, it's not real by default. And then it kind of is, but it's, when you then write like a kind of nice, like quote unquote objective article about it, it has all of like Alex Jones' angry editorializing removed, and this kind of like, it's like you're encountering a different set of facts entirely.
Yeah.
Right. But one thing that always struck me as odd is that, I don't want to write off Alex Jones as like, a broken clock is right twice a day, but kind of like ICP and their fan base, Alex Jones and Prison Planet went from like fringe, not propped up by anything, only spreading by word of mouth, like outlet, to now this is normal discourse. Now, like, you're no longer looked at like some five-headed mongoloid muttering to himself in pig Latin Cantonese. If you
I
bring
don't know
up
if
Alex
I do.
Jones in like everyday
yeah,
conversation,
Catherine, you disagree.
Oh, I do. I'm pretty sure Alex Jones is absolutely looked upon that way. So I don't know.
No. But here's the thing.
I mean, he is canceled. He's canceled. He's deplatformed.
But here's the thing that irks me about Alex Jones, and I hate that it irks me. Like, for example, when he's right, he undershoots it to the point like, no, the frogs weren't gay. The frogs transitioned from male to female, and they were expecting. That is a huge difference between they're turning the freaking frogs gay. Now, all the things about him saying Hillary Clinton smells like brimstone and she has like albino
That's
salamander children.
I met her once. I met her once at a White House tour, and she smelled of brimstone.
That was like who's the guy that used to run Venezuela?
Bob
Hugo
Ross.
Chavez.
Bob. What's the guy's name? Not Caesar Chavez.
Hugo Chavez.
No, the
Hugo
other
Chavez.
Chavez.
Although they were kind of no, I'm not going to say they're similar. Caesar Chavez, because he was a
Yeah, more or
humorist.
less. More or less.
I remember the one thing. Zoomers probably don't remember this, but he went on to the UN and he's like, "I smell sulfur," because George Bush was also giving a speech, and so people like all these leftoids.
Oh boy.
Like the Noam Chomsky variety leftoids, like Oliver Stone, they did like this thing about how Hugo Chavez is a great dude and all that stuff. And I wonder like if the right wing equivalent is saying, I don't know, like who's like a dictator.
I think Oliver Stone's based. Like
yeah, he
no
is
mistake.
based. No, he is based. But at the time, I was like a boomer neocon, not neocon, like a boomer normie con. So
yeah,
I was like, you guys are fucking idiots.
I don't know what you'd call me.
I don't know. Oliver Stone's kind of impressionable, I'd say. But anyway,
yeah.
Well, they all like even Noam Chomsky's impressionable.
Listen, fellas, all I gotta say is, he wrote an excellent draft for Conan the Barbarian back in the 80s, all right? John Milieu did a polish on that script, before it got to screen, but god damn, what a good movie.
Is that originally by Oliver Stone, that script?
That's an Oliver Stone.
Speaking of Oliver Stone,
I love that movie.
I love drawing. I'm just looking at that and I'm just like, it has no connection to Oliver Stone actually. Just thought I'd segue.
Drawing like frog guys.
Oh yeah, Catherine,
cool.
What do you think of this? What do you think of what's going on here?
So cool. I love it.
It reminds me of is it Bosch? Is that the fellow's name? Those Bosch paintings?
Yeah,
I was gonna say it reminds me of Bosch. Yeah.
I think I'm the reincarnation of Hieronymus Bosch. I really do start to believe that the more that I do this stuff. But I really enjoy.
You really have your own style of, which is like that's the thing. Like a lot of times, like artists look for their own voice and can't really, they imitate a bunch of stuff. But like you have such a clear way of looking at things, and I don't know, it's really fun and it's so detailed because at first you only had it zoomed in on these little green creatures and I was like wondering what you were doing there, and then I saw the whole thing and I'm like, whoa, and it has so much detail.
So this guy, so my strategy here, Catherine, I want to make use of the opportunity right now with these NFTs to create not just this big one, but I'm extracting like this guy, Deer Man, I'm going to call him. I'm extracting Deer Man, and he's going to be a separate NFT that people can buy. So people can buy the full thing, which is obviously much more expensive, but then people can buy like this rooster man with the breasts. People can buy this cute guy
Pokemon,
over here.
you got to catch them all.
Exactly.
Oh,
I'm going to have like the blowfish, yeah.
Is this like that Beatles album cover where like there's the cover as a whole, but then every single figure in the cover is someone with their own context, it's its own separate entity?
Exactly.
Like Hitler, Muhammad Ali, and Gandhi.
And like the Sgt. Pepper's cover, those are all like real entities that Lev knows in real life.
Have you sold any more NFTs?
So the last one that I said that I sold, so there is one that I have for auction right now, which I should probably put a price on. That's Pure Reminder. I'm not sure if people are good at setting the prices themselves when it comes to this kind of stuff, so I should just go for it and set the price myself.
Yeah.
But the last one that I sold, I will show it to you. It's called Schmitzy, and Schmitzy got sold for like the equivalent in Ethereum, like 1.77 ETH, which last time I checked was around $2,000 something dollars.
Oh, attaboy, Lev.
Attaboy,
Lev.
There
we go.
Nice one.
So this is Schmitzy over here. Let's see. I'm not sure if the GIF is gonna work out. I can possibly put her in a different way here so you guys see what this is all about. But the one that I currently have is a Pure Reminder. This is the last one. Let me see if Pure Reminder is gonna work as far as...
he's got the way that they're animated. I'd be curious to see you doing that part. The animation and the adding the colors and the crazy effects and that part of it.
Oh yeah, here. So now you can see it being animated over here. Yeah. So you see it moves up and down like that, and I don't know if I can make a. Let's see if I open this up and then.
You got the eye and the triangle.
Do you know anything about the person who bought it? Like why they bought it? Like anything?
No, I think it's just one of these people that are referred to as whales. You know, like they are people who have a lot of money that like to invest in things that they see value
invest in Lev.
Oh,
yes,
kind of like the patrons during the Renaissance, just crazy rich people
Yeah,
who are like you.
Yeah.
I like your gift.
See, I like that idea of NFTs as patronage, but I find it as like an investment. I don't know that I buy that.
Yeah, I'm skeptical of the finance punk thing. I know like my friend Barrett is like a big advocate of it, but I think that like it's another NFTs are another way for like rich people to grift off of artists, in my opinion. I don't know.
Just real quickly before conversation spills out over into Geo musing over the pros and cons of cryptocurrency being used as a means to leverage the art world.
I love this.
Eirk, I have a question. Would you
Sure.
be opposed to whether it's a thread or tweets you've made that help reinforce or emphasize a point or points that you're making in your thesis? Like, would you be opposed to such a thing? Because if Paul Scalise has his own tweets in his own book that are like, hey, these stand on their own, like, where's the lie? Would you be opposed? And I know that's a cockamamie question in an academic sense, but would you be opposed to your tweets or like a thread of yours being in your thesis?
I mean, I might it's sort of, I'm not sure whether I'd be, I think there's like kind of there might be a weird like plagiarism issue as well, because I sort of like tweet anonymously. So I don't know, that it's sort of, I think I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. So I definitely don't think I'd be able to just like quote them as they are. I think I would have to like do a lot of like rewriting and revision, or it would just be a matter of like seeing the arguments that are made in different threads and like trying to extract them, and
right.
maybe rework them a bit.
Yeah. But he didn't answer my question before. I want to get back to it because I always keep interrupting after I ask the initial question.
Yeah, you wanted to ask about
what is the most
controversial thing?
Yes.
I don't know, like maybe that like like Robin DiAngelo like sensitivity training seminars are a kind of psychological warfare on people.
Who's Robert DiAngelo?
Robin DiAngelo, like the white fragility woman.
Oh.
Or
yeah,
what's her name? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Like the Saris Rao. I don't know how to pronounce
well, how would people in England take it? I'm still confused because so far all the people we've had who came from England, like Ed West and people like that, they have just been so charming. Like, I loved speaking with English people. There was just something about them that is just calming. I don't know why, but like even speaking with you, there's something calming about it. But I don't know, like how are you're welcome. So how are English people in general when it comes to this wokeness craze that the kids are into nowadays and nah.
I mean, I think it's like distributed kind of unevenly. It's a difficult question because like culture has become so like virtualized, and it's the internet is kind of like it sort of like blurs national boundaries a little bit. Like most of the people I kind of talk to on Twitter are like in America or in other places. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely like had its impact over here. It's like penetrated through into just the like everyday consciousness of people, I think. It's sort of weird. It's like, I don't know, I think there are moments where it just intrudes into everyday life. But then I think, what I'm most concerned about is its like influence in actual institutions in like schools and universities and things like that.
Do you notice people are treating it seriously, or do you think most people are just going with the flow and are a lot more Machiavellian in their nature, seeing it as a kind of fashion that they have to adopt? Meanwhile, if they were to actually speak to each other in private, they'd all kind of figure out that it's all a bunch of BS.
That's a very good question. I think that in a way it supplied the terms for like the discourse about racism and other kind of social issues. So that even people, like, there are people who have a sort of self-deprecating sense of themselves as like, I'm not an expert, so they don't necessarily understand these ideas. They'll just kind of like, make a sort of humble effort to like adjust themselves to them. So there's that going on. Then there are people who are more like using them more consciously, and I do think there is a kind of the ideas themselves, they really rely on this like idea of expertise, right? That there are like anti-racist experts, and so everybody has to like defer to them, and everybody has to like kind of
I can speak to this because I'm an anti-racist expert.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Everyone has to look to me to figure out who's really racist.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but Eark, one thing to see things like for example, like Black Lives Matter started in the United States, and and over the years, it's been a little surreal and bewildering to see BLM marches in like England, even in like Scandinavia. It's like, bro, like there's I just look. I don't even think there are enough Black people in Norway to be upset to have a Black Lives Matter march. Like it's so strange to see these things like propped up and propagated in such blinding speed and efficiency. And like, dude, like I could only imagine you must like if you ever see one of these things on the ground, like when you see them here, like Monoxis and I filmed at City Hall last year in the summer. And it was probably the most coordinated activist thing I've seen in years. Like, not even Occupy Wall Street was that oiled of a machine. To, oh, you're here? Do you want to protest? Here. You want to twerk at nothing in particular? Go over here for the Kumbaya, my twerking circle. You want to get indignant? Go over here. You want the human megaphone? Go over here. And of all the people we spoke to, only one person was like, yeah, we got to vote on police issues.
Well,
they
here's a strange
until the point where sorry about that. They were coordinated up until the point where they were doing it late. Because let's not forget, they were at City Hall like after months of protesting. It took them months to figure out we have to go to City Hall to get something done.
So there's a strange thing that I noticed. There's this Japanese lady I know who I met at an event in the Japanese society in New York City, which was about cooking. So, just like Japanese style grill cooking from the head chef of Matsuri. It's not around anymore. That place is now turned into a nightclub called Tao. But back in the day, it was Matsuri. It was my favorite Japanese restaurant. And this lady there who I met, Keiko, she, from this year onwards, I've noticed, first of all, that she's had
like
closer...
the Dead Can Dance song?
Maybe, I don't know. But she seems to have pretty close ties as far as various media entities. And she's been going on this whole BLM and Stop Asian Hate thing very recently. Like, there's this book, or pamphlet, I'm not sure what this is. It looks like a book. And it seems to be like a Black Lives Matter thing for the Japanese public. Like, I'm not sure who this lady is over here in the bottom. And, Alicia Garza, that's what's written over here. Black Lives Matter, Chasing Garza. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on, but it's interesting that both, like, the Stop Asian Hate and BLM, it seems to be, like, a unified movement, where I doubt Stop Asian Hate...
The majority
yes, exactly. And, of course, that's never discussed at all in that context. So, it does seem like this is something that's very... from the top down, as far as
all these things like develop from a kind of like tradition of like American self-help as a kind of like genre of literature, and they've also developed out of like the history of writing about American race relations, and now that's like kind of becoming like generalized worldwide as like a paradigm, even though it's kind of like everywhere has its, different countries have their own like histories with race and things like that.
Well, it's interesting that this emerged because it seems to have been tied into that incident with the guy going to the massage parlor and killing a bunch of Asian people. Now, I certainly have no doubt that there's quite a bit of anti-Asian there is definitely racism. I mean, I've witnessed it. It happens all the time. I think it's terrible. And often people, don't stand up to that at all and do that far less than with other groups. But in that particular instance, like, there was actually no real reason to believe that the targeting was because it was like an Asian hate. Like, it was, this guy was, not...
Wasn't he like an incel or something? Like, how come they didn't go with that again? Or that was like...
he wasn't an incel because he was getting sex from these, massage parlors.
No, but spiritually incel.
Yeah, but if he was racist, why would he bang him?
Because they're so low.
Yeah, I mean, stories like that end up just, they get like... it's like their utility for producing sentiment.
Yeah. Well, what I wanted
it's being used, you know.
Well, I think to make a point with that is that I think what happens with a story like that, when it's spun in that way, where this is the reason was because of anti-Asian, racism, all that stuff. It actually, when people hear that, it does create more fear out in the public because that's what they start to believe. And so, and it creates and this happens in a lot of instances where I don't think that the reporting is accurate. And it creates this like fear I think a very real sense of fear for a lot of people of different ethnic backgrounds. And so I think this is what was happening here and becomes a campaign, but
Yeah, well, it's like this is like this social construction of reality. It's like if you like promulgate this idea that like there's a lot of like like anti-Asian prejudice that's just like lurking, embedded in social life in a kind of
that'll be
way.
like from the 1800s or something, when like the railroads were being constructed,
or like in Gangs of New York. Like, like that's the kind of the sentiment they want people to believe is lurking out there. But what always irked me is that like Black on Asian violence has been one of the dirty secrets of the West Coast for decades. And that sentiment came to a boiling point during the LA riots. Well, before that, I mean, like Rodney King getting beaten, being caught on camera, yes, but like the resentment that Black people had towards Koreans moving into neighborhoods that used to be theirs.
Well, I found out from the Dankula video, part of what that was. There was a shooting. So what had happened was correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a small child had stole something from one of the Korean, like those the supermarket places, and the woman had pulled a pistol and shot the kid.
Yeah.
Like
Tupac mentioned both of them in his song Thug Mansion, by the way. I remember that.
Yeah, like it's not a good thing that you shot a kid for stealing. Like, don't do that. Like, I don't get, like, take race out of it. That's an absurd thing to do. Like, you could have yelled at the kid or threw something at him. Like, I don't know. There's anything better than shooting.
But it's even worse that, if I remember correctly, the shopkeeper got off.
Yeah,
like They weren't charged with anything.
Right, and so that kind of heated people up, and so they were specifically going to be targeted over that. And the call went out with like once they realized the cops were not going to do anything, because the guy said that the cops rolled up and were sitting there, and then gangbangers come in and started shooting up people. And the cops just took off. And so he made a call to his cousin that owned a pawn shop that had a bunch of guns. All those Korean dudes had done, I think you got to do 2 years in the military.
They do military service.
Yep.
Yeah.
So all those guys knew how to handle guns and were prepared to rock and roll. And so the Roof Koreans were born. The legendary story.
The big question for me here is when it comes to establishing a certain kind of order. Ideally, people should be properly educated and have a cohesive family structure so that there's no need to impose a heavier order upon society where people know how to behave. But at the same time, we're living in, I mean, look at the beaches right now in California, the Venice Beach. I recently saw somebody posting a video of like all the drugged up people there. So
I saw that video.
Listen,
yeah,
I got a friend. I was talking to him. He's out in LA, and he was riding the bus and said, "Here, Charles, you never seen something like this before." And just held his phone up to the window and showed me Skid Row. And it went on and on and on. Just people living in tents and squalor. And I was like, oh my God, this doesn't feel real. Like, how does a city let this happen?
Yeah, it's crazy.
But the question for me is, at what point can we say that ideally everybody should be educated and everybody should listen to reason? But for the people who do not listen to reason, a Giuliani style, what ended up happening in New York, for example.
Yeah.
And sure, you could say like Freakonomics said, oh, it's not because of that, it's because of, I don't know, abortion, or I don't know. But regardless of whatever
that was a fucking bogus claim, by the way.
Okay, no, we're going to get into that as well. I'm not saying it isn't, but my whole thing here,
I think when it comes to that, I mean, it's like, is your behavior as an individual hurting other individuals in this society? Because we all do have some level of consent when we live in a society to protect each other, which is kind of like this may not be a popular thing, but like, for example, with masks, with people talking about their freedoms and such, and you can, if you prove that a mask is not effective, that's a totally different thing. But let's say masks are effective at spreading, at controlling the spread of a virus that can hurt other people. Well, in that case, as a member of that society, I do think you have that certain responsibility to your fellow humans to wear that mask. Now, if that somebody is not doing that, then it does become something that I think is okay for a government to be involved with. Now, so I think when it has the potential of harming another individual in the society. So if somebody's just living on the street, and they're not really necessarily actively hurting someone, that's I'm not sure.
The counter to that, I'd say, would be the broken windows thing.
Probably don't work.
No, no. The counter would be the broken windows thing. So when it comes to, let's say, somebody let's say there are laws against somebody peeing in the street or doing something that, let's say, sure, you could say it's not, it's not technically hurting anybody, but it would, let's say, it would play a role in making that particular block, that particular neighborhood more accessible to people who would then start dealing drugs and worse.
Well, that was the philosophy behind the broken window laws.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. So I am curious, like, people dismiss that, but...
So I think, in my opinion, it does harm society, and maybe not in the same way that, physically hurting someone. But it becomes difficult. It's like, what do you do with people like that? And that's another, because you could make the argument because these people are, they have addictions that they can't.
Yeah, there's multiple reasons why people are living out on the street. So probably the smallest percentage has to be the people who are temporary homeless, the guy that lost his job or got kicked out by his wife. Yeah, got to live in their car. Like those people, like that's you're in a bad situation. Maybe you're in a town that you don't have a cousin or a friend.
There's a small population that are homeless by choice.
Right. I was getting ready to run through that. So you've got those people that live in homeless by choice that are just like, yeah, man, I'm living my own rules. The government gives me $30 a day. I can spend it on whatever I want. Like, I saw a dude interviewed saying that. I was just like, what the hell?
A mistake to even just begin by looking at the problem of homelessness as like a problem of homeless individuals in the first place. It's like it's really you have to ask why this has happened to such an extent in the first place. Like what's going on with the social breakdown?
I think
the lack of opportunities and and mental health and all these kinds of things.
Yeah, the biggest group out there is mental issues. Mental illness. So you're talking severe schizophrenics, you're talking heavy duty drug use, heavy duty alcoholics, people that need serious clinical help that need to
But then those are all
it's becoming economic too.
Those are all things as well. Yeah, because then people kind of tend to drink more and develop poorer mental health when they have less economic opportunity and.
Well, in where I live, there was a mental institution. I've been to this mental institution quite a few times. It was honestly, it was a pretty awful.
Wait, what do you mean you were in that? You mean you were taken in there,
to clarify,
restrained?
For work, not.
Oh, I see.
Catherine did some
we've had quite a few. We've had some people who actually were in mental institutions.
Intelligence.
For a second, I thought Catherine was going to reveal. Well, how every mental hospital has a Napoleon. I was the Napoleon of mine.
Well, I figured Joan of Arc of that.
Yeah, Catherine, you always struck me as a Teddy Roosevelt.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I'm more Napoleon for sure. But when I was when I was working in this, because it's a very popular filming location, they no longer, so they shut it down essentially. There's only a few spots there, and from what I understand, they might be reopening it. But the way it wasn't it's a beautiful location. There's greenery and they had big windows, but the place inside is just awful, right? If you weren't insane when you came in, you're gonna be insane by being there.
Is this the one in the infamous one in New York?
No, but
no. I'm trying to think of.
But yeah, so basically, however, I think that what happened was when they closed it down, all these people ended up homeless because they had mental issues. They don't have anyone taking care of them. They go around talking to themselves, and they're not really in a position where they should be living 100% independently, and they should be getting more care. And they aren't. And so, but the
something's
problem
got to be done. Like somebody's got to step up. I don't know if a billionaire just says, "Yeah, I've got all this money."
Yeah, perhaps.
I don't think that would be
No, but
good.
that's still short term. I mean, okay, look. So
because we're invested in actually producing mental illness rather than.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
Well, what about let's think
in general in our society does need to be tackled, but then also if you do have these institutions, because schizophrenia and things like that are hard to, like, that's a different situation, and but having institutions that are much more humane, that are not like the cuckoo's nest kind of thing, right? Like you can create environments where these people can actually have decent lives. And I think that as a society, like, we tend to avoid investing in things like that, and as well as prisons, because we don't think of those people as really part of our society. So there's a tendency to avoid wanting to put in money into that. But that's necessary, and also just rethinking the structures of that. It's not just about the financial, but it's like the planning of it. Anyways.
But how many of all these things can be nipped in the bud originally? I'm not talking about, let's say, certain mental issues that,
Well,
it's kind of a roll of the dice.
Family.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, like, if we're talking about people who end up not in the mentally ill route, but end up in the drug route, that is something that could have been nipped in the bud way back when they were like 2 or 3 years old, if they had the right family structure. That's really what it comes down to.
Here's the thing.
You don't see this in Catherine, you know this. You don't see this in most Jewish families, nor do you see this in most Chinese families or Japanese families or Indian families.
They will not allow
it can happen anywhere, but I think the family structures are important as to one of the reasons that people may suffer. But I think people feel isolated. I think it's not like we can pick, like, people aren't always good, right? So people might grow up.
Yeah, but that's like a big one that we have power to change. We can't have the power to change mental health.
Change someone being born who's a terrible human being who abuses another person. Like,
I think it starts from judging. I think it starts from judging way early on, as far as whether the girl next door is going to go out with this person.
Yeah, but
or
unfortunately, there is
should she
percentage of the population that are just like irredeemable. I don't know, like, you want to use a meme term like dark triad or whatever.
Oh,
like,
well, I mean, to build on what, here's the thing. To build on what Gio is saying, there's a passage in No Country for Old Men where in the beginning of every chapter, there's like some narration by Sheriff Ed Tom Bell. And in the middle of the book, he says something to the effect of, most people are decent and don't need laws. Like, somewhere between 90% of the population don't need laws. They're going to go about living their life, and they're not a threat to themselves and others. It's the remaining 10% of the human population you have to leave the door with a gun and a badge to enforce these laws, because there's always going to be a population that, for whatever reason, setting, they just came out wrong. Their parents were terrible. They're missing something in their life. But there has to, if Dexter could, if Dexter's dad could see when he was a kid, this kid's going to turn out to be a problem. He's going to grow up to be a serial killer. Let's train him.
Or he's going to grow up to have a secret lab in his house.
He's gonna grow.
He's gonna give us superpowers.
But you know what? You have to keep in mind, though, that when Dexter's dad, goes to the kitchen in the morning and just sees that hourglass silhouette of his wife, it's like he forgets about everything else.
Although, excuse me,
it's like the Men in Black neuralizer.
I'm sorry if I'm misremembering this. It might have been Gio who said, I forget if it was Gio or Charlie that was like, I wish a rich person could just throw money at this and, like, it'll help, like, bring about some sort of solution. And honestly,
No, Lev said that. I would never say that, because I know better. That'll never happen.
Let's just say, okay.
What reason would they have to do it? Like, there's nothing to support them doing that.
Because honestly,
there's such an apparatus an economic and socio-political apparatus around the
I
actual production of a schizoaffective character.
Yeah.
I wish the upper class would just go back to philanthropy instead of scapegoating the less privileged.
Well, I mean, they kind of
Yeah.
they kind of are doing the sort of modern
I mean,
equivalent of
here's-
philanthropy, though. Like, I mean, that's things like BLM and Stop Asian Hate are the kind of modern day
That's
equivalents
there,
of.
yeah.
Hmm. No, but here's my.
But BLM is to activism as what KFC is to chicken. It's not.
Whoa.
It is
No
not-
nutrition.
Well, I don't
It's
know,
just-
man. I don't know about activism generally. I don't know how, like.
Oh, Black
like-
Lives. Listen, like it's you see, it's a tricky thing to unpack because, like, okay, listen. Last year, Black Lives Matter gained so much momentum, they practically looted the Pride Parade, and they made the Pride Parade about no, Black trans lives matter, and like.
I
even
remember
though
Jack, the perfume nationalist. He had to one of the funniest tweets ever. He said they basically have to like manufacture the Holocaust of Black trans people now.
It's not because no one was saying Black trans lives matter, and then as if everyone's reading from the same cue card, like when people who lean to the left are all going, "Wow, crypto's bad for the environment," all at the same time. They're all getting the same. It's not organic. It's astroturf. It's top-down nonsense. But what kills me about ethno-narcissists who are like, "Stop Asian hate can wait. No lives matter until Black lives matter." Look, I feel this contains a weird, consistent, almost mechanical truth about status systems, okay? Because jockeying for social value doesn't necessarily alter the material standing of the group so much as the order in which they're attended to. And it could be anything.
No, that's really insightful, I think, because it is like basically these like identity groups are just kind of they're just like giant personalities who are like warring against one another in this like huge imaginary like marketplace of like who gets the most priority.
Here,
So
it's not just with race, but it's like vaccines, evacuations, bailouts.
Yeah, everything becomes something. So what's going to happen when a trans, disabled, let's say Black, Asian, like let's say Tiger Woods,
Native American refugee.
Tiger Woods is involved in a wood chipper accident. He becomes that guy.
Do you think that's what it would take, a wood chipper accident?
What does,
that's like a wood chipper accident between any of us.
He
and
reinvents himself as a she. He becomes
Hardcore
Tigress. He
identitarian.
becomes Tigress.
Tigress.
Oh no,
Tigress.
Wow.
90s stripper
Ave
name.
Maria.
Yeah. Next thing you know, like he's inflating himself, and he becomes like the sister of Fat Nala. But anyway.
Please.
And he's got one of those. He's got one of those things like the smoker guys have after they have their voice box took out. Hi, I used to be
Ned from
Tiger Woods.
Oh, the
Yeah.
tracheotomy. The tracheotomy.
You're really innovating on this. I don't think there is any like tracheotomy like.
I have
interest
become a
no.
Muslim. Let me tell you.
Well, hear me out.
It should be like a death metal song by this point.
No. Hear me out. This is what's going to end up happening. It always ends up reaching
The Oppression
an
Olympics.
insane. It almost ends up reaching like an insane impasse that no one wants. Okay, for example, let's take Charlie Kahn's example, and this is something I discussed in Ghost Jail episode 2. All right, let's say you have a trans disabled, non-binary, club-footed disabled refugee. Okay, so all things equal, this individual is at the very top of whatever you want to call it, the Oppression Olympics. They are the most, at harm of machinations, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now if that same club-footed trans Native American, non-binary disabled refugee, if that person was living in like Central Park West, Beverly Hills, Chevy Chase, the Hamptons, Palm Springs, if you were to compare their life to poor whites in like the Ozark Mountains, there are enough
West
people
Virginia?
to say, hear me out. There are enough, or West Virginia. There are enough people who are like, oh, well, the club-footed, trans-disabled, non-binary Native American refugee is much less privileged because of the blah, 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 blah. and they always avoid discussing wealth as the one true privilege.
Hmm.
Wealth can fucking buy you privilege. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you're a club-footed, trans-disabled, non-binary.
Yeah, they do.
All
They
right,
do try and
so-
like accommodate.
No, but
that.
but you know,
Like-
but you know what they would say though.
Wait,
if
Lev,
we're
what
talking,
is-
yes.
Hey,
Yes.
Lev,
Yes.
check your wealth privilege here, okay?
No, no, this is very important because you know what they would say about West Virginia. They would say, "Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains shining through the river." So
Is
that
this
would be
a
their
song?
excuse
What?
for. I think you know what I'm talking about here, right?
Yeah,
That's
the
how-
song.
Yeah, that's how they would
So,
downplay. Yeah.
I was talking in a group chat earlier today with the boys about wealth, and we were talking about satisfaction over joy and happiness and what words mean. And I said, you want to know what real wealth is? Because one guy said that wealth to him was a 4-wheel drive vehicle, a shotgun, and it was something else. I can't remember what it was, a 6-pack. It was something ridiculous like that. And I said, no, I'll tell you what wealth is. Wealth is knowing that you bring value to other people, that you matter. Wealth is knowing that people care about you. That when you get up in the morning,
recognition.
other people, I don't know, that feels like value to me. That feels like there's a wealth there.
Yeah.
There's fulfillment to be gained
It's,
from that.
it's
Right.
social-
That's
social
satisfaction. Yeah.
But that's the kind of fulfillment that you get with a strong family, I think. And when it comes to
Wait.
I don't
yes.
even know about that.
Yerk,
I feel like
what about recognition? Like,
because I've been thinking
Yeah,
about it's
this
a
idea
wonderful
of, like,
life.
that you like you find like a sense of real value and like the good that you can contribute to a community, and the fact that you have like a kind of standing there is like, this is all social recognition, and this is like really like all of these like arguments about like privilege are really arguments that the real competition that's happening isn't about like material wealth at all. It is entirely about recognition on the stage of society, because we don't really have like an organic sense of of a society that we can draw recognition from. We're all in these like we're all in our like little house with our like Netflix and all these services that wait on us, and we have the internet, which is like this huge virtual stage, and like all of the sort of social media platforms that are used to create this stage create an illusion of scarcity, with regards to this recognition, because they quantify it in the form of likes and retweets and reblogs.
But
Well, why do you think?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask a question, if that's okay. No, I'm just curious. Why is it that people are chasing that recognition of being more of a oppressed? Because to me, it would seem like, I like the idea of looking for success, and I'm a victor.
A person needs self-actualization, self-realization. Like, you got to figure out who you are to yourself.
well, I think
To answer your question, Catherine,
Thank you.
I think it's because we associate like trauma with authenticity.
that's unfortunate. Yeah,
I think the more you've like autobiographically suffered, the more value your sentiment has, because it's kind of rarer.
Oh, right. To build on what PYeerk is saying, but you see, to build on what he's saying now and just earlier, like, binary worldviews get clicks, okay? And this also helps foster that, like, yes, among the people who have suffered, we have suffered the most. So, like, once upon a time, people, like, okay, Trump wins the election, and whenever you go to a rally, there's always the women's rights are human rights, and then people are grumbling trans rights are human rights, and like, nervously looking around to see if no one catches them slipping. But then Black trans lives matter upends all of this. It's like, oh, you're trans, but you have white skin, so you're not oppressed. It ends up like it's this infinite splitting of hairs until like all of these like the weird after effect of all this is that because binary worldviews get clicks, now you have people self-segregating themselves as like people of color, as if like now you're seeing the world as white and not white, as if all people of color Well,
Oh, by the way, Catherine, there's something weird with your voice right now. There's something strange
Yeah,
with
she
the
went into
connection.
the
I'm not
bucket or something. I don't know what happened there.
you sound like you're broadcasting from the 1940s with a Dixie cup.
Hello there. Hi there,
That's really
boys.
odd.
Let's talk about the wall.
Well, let's talk about the. No, but here's what I'm trying to understand, because I think it's important for us to understand that to go forward. I think we all agree that there are certain these things are happening. But where I'm kind of looking at is like, okay, yes, why are they happening? So that was an interesting theory. But also, why is it happening now more than it has happened before? Because, when my family immigrated, the American dream was like a real philosophical way of looking at it, right? Like you want to achieve. It doesn't
Opportunity.
matter.
Like America's opportunity.
The only
Right.
thing
I have
I
a
could ever
theory.
see with that.
One reason it's happening is because identity politics sublimates time and energy from actual activism. So no existing power structures are threatened.
Isn't that?
Let's also not forget
Isn't that
you're
what
dealing with
the
you're dealing with a lot of
slacktivists-
people. Like, you're dealing with a lot of people who also have access to social media and the internet. Like 30 years ago, you didn't have this like the kind of reach you do to information. So you have a lot of younger people who are getting right on board with this without asking questions, and you have a lot of misinformation being spread around, which is getting people to jump up very quickly to just back things up.
Very good
If,
point.
if this was like word of mouth, it wouldn't have spread as quickly.
But I think that really what we're seeing is this weird, and this could possibly explain the woke capital paradigm as well. The reason why identity issues, here's the thing, every civilization has its own form of Weltanschauung around identity, but the reason that it's so enigmatic to us now and why these discourses change all of a sudden is because we really are in a moment of, although, because I'm LeBased and Ted K-pilled, we're in a moment of temporary, and I emphasize temporary, post-scarcity. So now we have to sort of exist in this like total libertine, like after the orgy society, where we have to essentially invent our own sense of recognition and the war over recognition, because it's not really a total, like, again, this is where people like get
They're trying to make
wrong.
misery.
Yeah, it's like this is where people get Hegel wrong. It's not like the project of recognition never ends per se. There's never like a final totalization of absolute spirit. There's always going to be a sort of a dialectical shift towards what's that thing, Godwin's law, not Godwin's law, the thing where like the supplication for something is just as good as the actual thing itself. What law is that?
Are you basically saying that because we actually have a pretty decent life, we are now looking for things to kind of, miseries that we can bring up? Is that?
Well, not just miseries, but also, like, I don't want to make like a BoomerCon point, but I think that it's just because people ignore sort of actual material conditions because either A, it's not politically advantageous to the sort of cathedral itself, or B, people themselves, they do sort of not just live a comfortable life, but a life that is sort of mediated by forces out of our hands in terms of how we actually make a living or how we actually interact with people. It seems that people themselves have become subject to a greater complexity and how should I say it? Complexity itself in everyday life has like sort of created this schizoaffective character where people are just grasping at whatever they can get at.
Gio, if you'll allow me to resume beating a dead horse in an attempt to build on your point, there are, listen, I believe it's like the 24-hour psychic warfare that happens, and even when you log on to Twitter, you're exposing yourself. Like, even if you block every promoted tweet and you close out every interest, it's still this invasive and perversive thing you have to subject yourself to, okay? So now imagine that, but applied across every discipline and sphere of influence in meat space. Eventually, it starts to wear you out, where, like, you know what, rather than talking about income disparity and a 99 and a 1%, it's just a lot easier to blame someone or label someone as an ist who harbors an ism, possibly a phobia. Like, I'd like to return back to the whole wealth being the one true privilege. It was really strange to see Occupy Wall Street go from, now mind you, before Occupy Wall Street, there was no 99.1% discourse, all right? And
there kind of was, like, with the anti-globalization movement in the left.
Well, no, you're not wrong. There were things like the World Trade Organization protest, which again, it was the only time a bunch of smelly hippies and a hard hat wearing like laborers like united as one.
Exactly.
Because, like, that was one of the last times that happened.
I feel like
if you
that
feel
stuff
like you're
hasn't.
going to be one of the 1%, you don't
That's
tend
why
to
they had
hate
to
on the
destroy
1%.
it.
Yeah.
Well, no,
By the
no,
way,
right,
guys,
right.
what do you think?
What were you gonna say,
Catherine, but that's an excellent point because listen, like you see, like the like this weird equation of skin color as original sin, and where, like, to go back to my original point, where, like, as long as people can demonize poor working class whites, like, and the worst demonization comes from other white people who use the right buzzwords and pay property taxes because they have every reason
just the
to
other
shift
day,
the blame. Every reason to shift the blame for the inequality they cause onto lower class whites.
Well,
And
just
as
the
long
other day, there was this, like, Rex Chapman guy, whatever the fuck his name is, a total ghoul, in my opinion, where it was about this drug company executives saying to the dumb hillbillies or whatever, and he's saying, yeah, but this is what the Republican voters, this is what the Republican politicians think of their voters, and so it's making a political hay out of it because it's the same old, like, what's that famous political science book, The Problem with Kansas, where it's like, how come these dumb redneck hick racists, how come they keep voting against my interests? They keep voting against their interests.
But such a framing allows for things like, for example, stirring up the bees over nebulous terms like white supremacy, so power structures remain untethered. Like, it was something out of The Onion to see multinationals and arm manufacturers espousing the same virtues as people hurling bricks through windows last summer. Like,
well, there's like an influential essay by Tuck and Yang called "Decolonization is Not a Metaphor," which is supposed to be like a kind of classic like anti-colonialist essay. That's like it's like been very influential amongst like the online American left. And there's literally like a graph in it, a table rather, which is like it's sort of showing it's kind of revision of Occupy. So whereas Occupy is 99% occupiers and then 1% owners, the framework advocated by this essay is it's like 1% indigenous and 99% settlers. So like the entire like population of the US that isn't indigenous is like just like written off, right? So like the value of this, if you want to like sabotage the American left before it can ever get any kind of like get its foot in the door, is you just like promulgate this idea that like literally 99% of the people in the country are occupying it illegally, right? And then you like, you know, you don't need to like be advocating for any kind of like increase in living standards. You don't have to address the opioid
what about
epidemic.
the pre-Clovis cultures? You know, they were wiped out by the Native Americans that went there.
They were Indo. Sorry, I have to consult the esoteric racists on Twitter. Were they not Scythians or?
I mean, they Atlanteans or whatever you want to say. By the way, what do you think? What do you think of this doodle? What do you think of this horse doodle? Geo, what do you think of this?
Oh
no, Lad, please delete.
You were talking about beating a dead horse.
Well, Lev, you super villain.
Yeah, I mean, really, like, I should give him some hands. You know, his name is Mr. Hands, so I should actually give him some big hands over here.
Lev, in another life, you meshed with a Mario Paint SNES cartridge and became the greatest artist techno villain of all time, Mr. Hands.
Yeah, here he is with this. I gotta draw hands a lot more though. I'm not doing the hands.
Yeah, hands
good
are always
justice.
But you know, just real quickly, and I'll do my best to beat the dead horse that Lev is giving electronic mouth to mouth and a defibrillator to right now. There are like part of the psychic warfare and the weird schizophrenic, like nothing resembles 4/4 music anymore kind of setting we find ourselves in. It's an excellent way to okay, like
4/4, okay, Meshuggah.
Hey, listen, it's Mr. Bungle, I'll have you know. But what happens is, I feel that there are options and there are problems that people are presented with where they can devote their time, money, energy, soul, and attention towards that gives them a sense of belonging and satisfaction and recognition, even though it has zero to do with real life problems. Like, I'll give you an example. The same way people on the left play 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but there's only 1 degree, and Kevin Bacon is this hurts the environment. Like, the same people who are like, oh no, crypto's hurting the environment, those are the same good-for-nothing, disgusting, soulless people who are like, I went to Iceland and I saw the melting polar ice caps, and because of that, I stopped eating chorizo. And they feel that giving up meat will somehow save the environment. Like, that's just them. That's a way for them to attempt to claim control over an otherwise normal and boring part of their life.
Well, plus, have you seen the resources it takes to actually like run the art world, to like jettison all of your different installation pieces to like the Venice Biennale or wherever? Like, this argument that crypto artists are hurting the environment is just like, to me, it's just
right.
It's like old boomers like Jerry Saltz that are like, I don't understand.
More like Geo, more like Jerry Salty, right?
Unlike me, where I hate digital art for purely artistic reasons. So
but
come on, like, Geo, how can you hate Mr. Hands here? Isn't he a good final boss? Like
it's getting worse and worse.
Final
man.
Fantasy.
Nah, that's
right?
an amazing
But
Mr.
it's all like. But just to wrap up my point, it's all these surrogate activities that people devote their time and energy and their money and their soul and they print upon.
You also have to remember that these people usually take like a path of least resistance, because it's kind of like the whole I saw the ice caps melting so I don't eat chorizo. But let's not talk about China polluting the air on a daily basis.
Let's not talk about China taking a strained greasy dump and hurling it at the ozone layer every day of the week.
Can we talk about China and their concentration camps against the good Muslim people?
No, it's okay.
Not true, though. That's all an anti-communist lie.
Ask Logo. Ask
Charlie.
Logo Daedalus. He'll tell you.
Charlie, didn't you know it's okay when China does it?
No, it's not. I don't think it is.
It totally
is. As something
Logo,
of a humanitarian bastard, I don't like the idea of people being
wait
killed.
a minute, you're a humanitarian? We can't hang out anymore.
You know, maybe not so much a people first humanitarian, but
definitely people factor in somewhere eventually.
But I like the idea of people not doing that sort of thing. Like,
let it be known that Monoxus is the vice president of the East Coast People Who Hate People political party. Okay.
Yeah.
No lives matter. They never have.
Yeah.
There's a Bill Hicks bit.
There's a great T-shirt.
People Who Hate People party.
That's right. That one. Yeah.
Jason,
I just want to real quickly bring your attention to Mr. Hands over here.
I like the little
There's
Mr.
a pouch.
Hands.
What's going
there's
on with
a
his
little
tits?
pouch. So he has a pouch like a kangaroo. He's a marsupial.
Please don't animate those flopping around.
Please, you have to.
And he has like a little child in here, like a Mr. Hands Jr., who is looking really scared at these breasts who have a life of their
Mr.
own.
Hands Jr.
If you don't think someone's gonna buy that, you're insane.
Yeah, that's a money maker right there. And the fact that he's dead too. Are you gonna draw somebody behind him clobbering him because he's a dead horse?
Yeah, I'm gonna have like a helicopter clobbering drone. That's what I'm gonna do.
Oh, like a Doncopter?
Yeah, well, do you remember last time we were talking about having a drone attached to a cat? Do you remember that? So that it could generate the milk from the cat breath.
But I just would like to say, I find it fascinating how the unfortunate fate of Mr. Hands is now part of the enduring legacy. Like, that's a hell of a way to go. Like, your entire life. Like, and who knows? Like, but things like this happen for like not so, it doesn't always have to be tragic. Like, I think his name is Art Spiegelman, the guy who made the comic Mouse. Like, no matter what that dude does,
that guy.
no matter what that does, no matter what that dude does for the rest of his life, he's gonna be known as the guy who wrote Mouse. Like that guy could he could find the cure for cancer. He could probably invent the Dongcopter that Lev sees in his mind's eye in quiet moments of thought and private moments of reflection. But he'll just be the mouse guy.
Yeah.
Forever.
Well, here I have this
Matt
this
Groening
cat.
will forever
this-
be the Simpsons guy.
Oh, and the guy who went to the Epstein Island to get a massage.
now he's the guy who got like a foot massage on the Linear
No, that's
Express.
Quentin Tarantino. He's the foot massage guy.
Oh no!
No,
Doesn't
but
Tarantino
Groening
give
too.
the foot massages?
Matt Groening was on the Epstein flight logs,
Yeah.
which is so unnerving because
And just look at how the Simpsons are nowadays. Oh my god.
that's
I'd
you're
go into
not,
an hour about this, but
you're not wrong, but anyways, just so I could put this
Well,
to rest.
didn't Bart become a male feminist? Shouldn't that tell you something?
Yeah, I just it's probably the greatest parody of a parody to this day. But just real quickly, so I could put this to rest because I don't want to turn this into the screaming about wealth is the one true privilege power hour. It's a very strange rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic dance.
Yeah.
That people are willing to engage in, where all right, if you were to draw up a list of what is important and what is not important, you see, all right, there's people have an understanding of things that seems to be thousands of volumes wide but only one volume deep. So when you're being told to educate yourself, these people never seem to recommend books to you. It's always the onus on yourself. And people hold things against other people that they had no prior frame of reference of. That's like me being angry. That's like me being angry at Catherine for the sun not being out at midnight. Never mind that it's midnight. The sun is kind of out of her jurisdiction, unless she's some level 20 archmage we don't know about.
Yeah,
So-
but that's because they don't read any of the books.
Yeah, they don't.
No, Yeerk, they don't even consume the media they demand representation to see it for.
No.
Remember when? Okay, so Solo flopped as a Star Wars movie, and and it was funny how everyone
Oh, God.
Lev confirmed to be the Intercontinental Champion of the Thunderdome.
By the way, this sketch is finished over here. I may turn this into a mural later, maybe an animated one. But as you can see, we have the cat drone who is beating Mr. Hands, who is dead, by the way. This is a dead horse. This is why we have the Salvador Dali style crutches.
I will
He
pay you
has
money for
like
this.
the Pan's
this
Labyrinth
pose.
hands. I see. Though.
Yeah, with the eye.
Lev, I will pay you money for that if you print it out or frame it.
And
Oh, I'm
ripped
gonna
that
turn
off
it into
from-
an NFT.
You know what I really like about that sketch actually is you have like the classic surrealist like Dali painting crutches holding his arms up
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, exactly. And this
You know
is
what's
the moon, by the
crazy is
way,
that,
and the moon has a face.
Benedito del Toro, he was it Benedito or Guillermo del Toro, the director? Which del Toro?
Guillermo, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, Guillermo.
there's
He
A
ripped
fox has
that.
just showed up. Sorry. Carry on, Gio.
He ripped that off from a scene that was never released. What was it called on the Silver Globe? They tried to make a movie of it, but then it was lost to history till this director found it. That's where the eyes and the hands come from. I mean, apart from that, and it's also like a powerful mythological symbol. But
It should be noted that a deleted scene from Pee-wee's Playhouse basically served as the basis of Tim Burton's artistic style. It's always fascinating.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's always fascinating how there are all these forgotten buried gems that end up becoming the basis and cornerstone for ooh, I'm Tim Burton, weird kooky artist, and it's bro, you bit off of a Pee-wee's Playhouse deleted scene. You're kind of a scrub.
Well, he directed Pee-wee's movie.
That is true. But when he went on to be Mr. I'm spooky, I'm misunderstood, I have bad hair, that whole motif that has been present in all of the aesthetics, the angles, the coloring, that all comes from one deleted scene from a Pee-wee's movie. So
But,
Interesting. But you know what? I do like the Batman movie, the first Batman movie that he did, because it didn't take itself that seriously. I'm not a big fan of when superhero movies take themselves that seriously.
Well, it's a fun movie. Like, it's a fun Batman. Batman, there's room in the world for fun. Like, I can't imagine...
Schwarzenegger one?
I can't imagine a little kid
Batman Forever.
Watching any of those, like
Forever,
Batman Begins or Dark Knight Rises, any of those movies, because there's so little Batman and so much people talking.
Yeah,
just talking.
Well, no, it wasn't Batman Forever.
The kid who plays the young Bruce Wayne in Batman Begins, I was in a play with him, but like not like a proper play, like a shitty drama school thing. Like
was he like a theater kid, like a typical theater kid?
He was a fucking dick, man. Like,
did he already have the Batman
Lev
role?
went to Lee Strasberg.
Yeah, I went to Lee Strasberg back in the day. I was around a lot of theater kids. In fact, I had a dream last night.
He had the highest T level among all of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, I had a dream last night. I completely forgot to mention this, where I was going to a combination.
The T level was at least 3.
Yes, I was going to a combination of either SVA, Lee Strasberg, my Catholic school, and the National Arts Club. That was the building I was going to. It was like a combination of all those things. And then I saw there were a lot of people there, and they had like drug tests. Like they had these police who were dressed in yellow who were gonna check all the people for drug paraphernalia after this guy was doing an acting seminar. But before that, by the way, before that part of the dream, I dreamt that I was in the city and I was going to a comedy festival. I always dream that I'm going to comedy festivals. This is like the most frequent dream I ever have in my entire life. It's me going to a comedy festival. So I went to a comedy festival, but I was late to see Lee Sayat. For those who do not know about Lee, I would love for him to come on BTR soon. Lee Sayat is also known as the Flying Jew. He was the assistant,
Joey
the junior
Diaz.
partner of Joey Diaz.
Right, for the Church of What's Happening Now. That's right.
Exactly.
Mad flavor.
And I saw Lee Sayat live during Skankfest, and he was really funny. I gotta say, he's not messing around. I think he really is the makings of a great comedian. But anyway, in the dream, I was too late to see him, but who I did get to see on stage was Bill Maher. So Bill Maher went on stage, but and I was sitting here. I could even show you here in the sketch where I was sitting.
Did that mar your experience of the dream?
Oh man! Now you're encroaching on my territory. But anyway, so imagine this is the stage over here. Yes. I mean, okay. So let's say we had some people were sitting over here and people were sitting over here, something like that. And this is the stage. And when I looked outside the windows, let's say I was looking, I don't know, maybe over here, this was the window. When I was looking outside the window, I remember seeing, this was on the top floor of a building. And I remember seeing the exact view, these traditional-looking Russian, those onion tower things. So I was just seeing a lot of these onion tower things in the background, and the city itself, it was a real ethnic, culturally enriched city, I guess you could say, where there's a lot of different ethnic enclaves, kind of like Jackson Heights. And I was in a store when I was trying to figure out where this comedy place was, and they gave me this Indian dessert that was made out of a South American fruit. So it was I'll show you a picture of that Indian dessert later, but it was like a ring. It was these rings with some chutney in there, or some fruity stuff. Anyway, back to the window view. Onion things, these were red colored. So these were red onion towers that I saw out of the window. Back to the comedy thing. People were sitting here. People were sitting there. Bill Maher was on stage over here. And I was probably over here looking at him. But then some asshole approached me over here and asked if he can give me, I can give him the seat. Because he didn't have a seat and everybody else had a seat. But there were empty seats over here. Obviously because, Bill Maher was over here. So I had to go all the way here, grab a seat, and then I sat in front over here. So Bill Maher was right close to where I was. So that was the dream. I just wanted to let everybody know about that. Anyway.
Lev kvetching over his seat. That'd be hilarious.
Find the metaphor. Ladies and gentlemen, find the metaphor.
Vivid ass dreams.
But I wanted to talk about
Oh wait! Before everybody subscribe right now. Everybody who is watching, subscribe right now. I cannot stress this enough. We gotta grow the LEVSTREAM as well as break the rules. So subscribe right now. Anyway, Gio, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah. I lost my thought. No,
God
yeah.
damn it. Okay.
I wanted to talk to about this thread. I don't know. Yeerk has a unique ability to piss off, like, just. I said this once, to piss off like the absolute worst, just gutter trash people that you see on Twitter. But he had this one thread recently that's an idea that our good friend. Let me just turn the fucking camera, see if it works now. Yeah,
There
I
we
have
go.
to like rearrange my equipment here. I don't know why my camera's lagging. Holy shit! No, it's good. It's good. It's good. No, I a thread recently where Yeerk was talking about. It was an idea that Default Friend, our good friend of the show, shout out.
Shout out to Default Friend.
Was talking about how like the people that talk about academia all day, the people that like their grift is like, you know, the woke universities, which they are woke, obviously. But the problem is that what happened was outside of the universities, it's this really weird condition where like literally like Tumblr people that like butcher queer studies theory or of the like, or critical race theory, are literally like within the span of 10 years it becomes public policy, which people they don't credit how that sort of online discourse translated. And even before Tumblr, what we had was the culture on Something Awful.
The goons.
The goons, yeah,
I'm gonna goon.
the goon.
Oh,
The Something Awful people, they really helped instantiate a lot of those ideas by the simple fact that that was like, you know, basically the left-wing 4chan. And then what happened was a lot of those people went into media and podcasting and so forth.
Hey, Gio, it's funny you mentioned that. Like,
And they all
Something
said
Awful
N-words
Goons-
back in the day, and all of their admins were pedophiles, but nobody talks about that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no one ever talks
You know.
about how Something Awful Goons ended up in a number of positions of. Okay, for starters, no one ever talks about the Something Awful Goons that applied to the CIA, quote, as a joke, end quote, in the mid 2000s.
Oh yes, yeah, that's
no
right.
one ever talks about how like everyone. Okay,
I'm
Vile
gonna
Rat.
recuse myself from talking about Something Awful. R.I.P. Vile Rat.
Vile
Yeah,
Rat.
they had to get rid of him, eh?
Vile Rat was a Something Awful goon who died in Benghazi.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he was also a big deal on the EVE Online clan that Something Awful had, that more or less just like laundered Bitcoin and traded CP. Like no
Yeah.
one ever talks about how like
a lot of the anti-Gamergate people were also.
Oh yeah, they
pedophiles.
Zoe Quinn had a crippling hell dump addiction by her own words. Like she talked about like I have a 5-year gap in my resume and it's because of a crippling hell dump addiction. And that was a
Wait,
that was a part
what
of
addiction?
Hell dump. It was a part of Something Awful. Like she's a Something Awful goon. Like Something Awful goons ended up like, for example, like a lot like Gio, like you mentioned, like the left wing version of 4chan. Like this was even before Lefty Poll on 8chan. In fact.
Yes.
Like weird
Yeah.
Twitter started out as like ironically
Basically
like wow
goons.
Gio, check
Yeah.
your privilege, Gio. You cis male hetero blah blah blah.
And then
buzzword
weird
catchphrase.
Twitter, like they fed into that sort of like irony left posting that now.
And now is it's kind of like remember
Yeah.
when like ironic misandry turned into flat out actual misandry on the internet.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
right, a lot of that stuff started on Something Awful with weird Twitter. Like nothing good of redeeming social value has ever came from that website after hell. Moot was a Something Awful goon, and he made 4chan, and he lived long enough to see himself become the villain. You see,
Yeah.
like
Let me find the actual thread.
I met Moot in a public couple of times actually.
Oh,
So the
yeah.
way that I met him was I used to love going to these Japanese restaurants in the East Village, and apparently he also loved going there. So that's how I met him.
Hey, really?
Yeah.
I think I think you could take him. He looks like a pretty scrawny fella. Like Lev
Well,
versus
I am
Moot.
working out. I mean, I did the last time I mentioned, I did 235 pounds 5 times in a row with the deadlift. So I'm getting
Many
there.
sets.
I'm getting there.
How many sets?
How many sets?
Okay, five sets. The first set was, hold on, let me grab my phone. I'll tell you exactly how much I did, because I keep track of everything. And by the way, everybody who's watching, subscribe and also show your support by going to streamlabs.com/LevPolyakov. I'm going to put it in the chat as well.
By the way, here's
send me money. Yes.
I don't know, I have to do a better version, but this
wait,
was
let's
kinda
see.
rushed.
Hold on. I'm going to put it on the screen.
I also
Oh,
did
wow.
worse.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Wait, don't
but
talk, because then Geo,
I should've
his
done
screen
it-
goes away.
I should have done it in reverse, but I maybe hopefully it's like Noton enough to. Like,
That's really nice, man.
That was
Yeah,
beautiful.
I mean, I had a different plan in mind, but then I don't know what happened.
Yerk, the very first thing I saw Geo make in real time was, I believe it was a pen on paper ink sketch of the Waco siege. And
Yeah,
bro,
yeah, it was.
Lev and Geo are like two of the few consistent artists I've seen. Like, and I don't mean churn out in a bad factory farm, like, you know, assembly line sort of way. I mean churn out, and like everything they've made, I'd pay real life money for to like have up on my wall.
Maybe one day.
Hey, if you ever have a gallery, here in New York City, if you see some prick walk up to you in a luchador mask with an envelope full of money, that's me. Just say yes.
So are you saying that,
With the Bob
that
Bastard
cryptocurrencies are not
mask.
real money? Did I just hear that?
Oh,
So-
No, he just said he buys art with real money. He didn't say anything
that's-
about crypto.
yeah,
But
that's
it's
right.
not real money. It's bullshit. It's a bubble.
Okay, so here
I
we
know.
go.
Please, verse Loom.
Whoa.
Do not get mad at me. So, anyways, here's the thread. It blew up.
Wait, before we go to the
4K.
thread. Hold on, I want you to
Yeah,
save
yeah.
the thread just because I want to quickly say what my last rounds were on the deadlift. So 150 pounds times 10, 235 pounds times 5, 235 pounds times 2, 215 pounds times 5, 185 pounds times 11.
Not
We're
bad.
gonna
not
have
bad.
Buff Lev next month.
Well, we already
Yeah,
have Buff,
w-
and
w-
we'll combine together.
He's
yes.
He's going into Buff Bagwell territory.
We're-
He's gonna lift up the shirt and say, "Hey, girls, this here's the situation."
We're gonna have super huge tough lord Lev
Yeah.
that is gonna be bench pressing information desks.
He's gonna
Watch
be.
out.
He's gonna go all the way into Joe Piscopo and
Oh my God.
Carrot Top territory.
Oh, by the way, I should have said this earlier, but I forgot about it.
Well, I
So
can't
Geo,
believe Booker T didn't want to put me over that one time.
Geo, you know,
I found
you know
out
how
Joe
you keep
Piscopo's based.
Fuck. Yeah.
Gio, you know how you always make the joke? You say like, oh, like Italians, aren't like are honorary black or like
Yeah.
aren't white. So I had a dream about a week ago where the cast of Jersey Shore split up into two groups who were arguing with each other, like really violently arguing.
Oh
One
my
side
God.
saying they were white and the other side saying they were not white. So they were
Oh,
just.
we're white. Come on. Oh, and then situation
it's
comes
gonna
in.
be-
You're just
Yeah.
like you're just like tapping into the collective unconscious and just seeing the kind of like imaginative dramas of like just play out.
And
That'll
then
be
two
the
of them,
future of
and then
it.
two of the Guidos, they went to a bar, and they were sitting down at the bar, and then they were arguing whether one stole the other's look. But that was...
Yeah, see, it's all about like recognition, right?
yeah.
Exactly.
Ah.
So, well, that's the thing. Jersey Shore was such a, like, the 2010s were such a cultural dead zone.
Oh,
this-
dude,
Speaking
Gio,
of cultural dead zones, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah.
just real quickly, that a running theme on my Twitter is history will not be kind to the 2010s
Mhm.
because like
No.
the 2000s were like, listen, as weird as the 2000s were, they were all just one big transitory period. All right, the 2010s,
Yeah,
especially once the Mayan calendar ended and we kicked into mumbo jumbo times in high gear. From like 2013 to the end of 2019, every fucking day was like something out of the Onion. Like, and you know, like I can't wait for people to try to explain away things like drag reading hour or like teaching kids how to properly tip burlesque dancers and stuff $1 bills in their G-strings or like 6-year-old kids going to political rallies with signs going, "My mom's a proud slut." Like it's you know, the history will not be kind to the.
Do you
I
call
feel
them
like-
the
I feel like
mumbo
the-
jumbo times? David Thomas from Perubu would say it's like the data panic era.
Data panic. That's actually
Yeah, I don't
I
think
like
the present
that
is
term
being
for it.
kind to the 2010s.
I really like that. No, because
I'm
listen,
nostalgic for the early 2000s before the towers came down.
Listen,
That's
like
my
I have
thing.
like the scene girls with their haircut. You
Y2K
remember?
aesthetic.
Yeah.
So you mean so Gio could say he was going out with a suicide girl before suicide girls were a thing?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's right, my
Oh.
friend. Gio knows what's up. Gio be getting numbers from Hot Topic in the late 90s, early 2000s. Let me find out.
But I wish actually. So
the thread.
this is and I shudder to like open up the quote tweets because I don't know why for some reason PYeerk, Lo-Fi Republic, especially Lo-Fi Republican, our good friend Alex Kashuda. I couldn't. In some ways, like I lament the fact that I've been doing this for years now, and I've had to grind for every single follower and retweet. And maybe it's a good thing that demons don't find my tweets because it's like every time I see like people responding to either Lo-Fi or PYeerk, or I'm trying to think of who else. I couldn't handle that amount of like just brain dead people talking about like just stupid stuff. Like this one. I'm sorry, but this is just dumb. Have you seen Instagram? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. All I was doing on Tumblr was watching Glee. So this thread, really think something extremely sinister was going down with Tumblr in the early 10s, where millions of adolescent girls were introduced to sex posy, pro-sex work, pro-kink feminism that was simultaneously man-hating and subculturally obsessed with rough, violent sex. The emergence of this particular mixture of ideas and obsessions is very suspect, and it would be worth trying to trace the origins of their appearance on the platform. I can't think of a better way to socialize and prime a generation of young women to view sex work as normal. It creates a view of sexual and romantic life as a brutal, predatory battleground of mutual exploitation and suspicion, in which the only way to succeed was a kind of radical, sexually empowered self-ownership that implicitly viewed interpersonal relationships as weakness. So it's almost like how Edvard Munch described how he would paint women. The famous art critic Robert Hughes, God rest his soul, said that Munch viewed them as vampires because either a man has two options. Either he in Munch's world, he either submits to the love of women, which emasculates him, or becomes basically an incel and hates them forever. And so in some ways, it's almost like this weird reversal of female sexuality, where on Tumblr you had this sort of instantiation of the attitude that either you totally submit to a man or for some kind of like weird sexual proclivity, or you in essence become a femcel, where you view the sexuality as a power relation where one side has to always lose, the other side has to always win. And so therefore there's this lurid obsession with at the same time sex work becomes normalized is the same time where the discourse around like all men being rapists or whatnot become a thing. Like, for example, the other day I like deleted these replies to these whatevers in under a PYeerk tweet, or no, it was a verse tweet about he pissed them off by saying that was it PYeerk?
The thing about like true crime.
True crime, yeah, true crime
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
same as video games, yeah. And then before that was another good friend of mine, Egg Report, who pissed them off even more by saying that traveling is kind of like women playing video games. It's sort of like that's the
yeah, I mean that thread though. I also got like responses from various girls who were like on Tumblr.
Yeah.
In the like early 2010s, just being like, yeah, that was true. It like really messed me up. So I think it's, and I wrote it out of like sympathy for them.
Yeah.
Because I mean I like
exactly.
I don't know. You meet people in real life, who I just I swear to God, it's like everybody's just traumatized, man. Like everybody's just traumatized by the
Exactly.
2010s,
Well,
men and women in different ways.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but in regards to what Gio and Yeer are discussing, and I want to tie this back to something you tweeted a few days ago, Yeer. And I don't mean to turn this into a let's all discuss your tweets and threads like a stream.
No, it's flattering. I'm
But,
very
but,
yeah.
but you said something to the effect of something was really sinister going on in the 2010s on Tumblr. Like
Yeah.
that's what it started out as. And one thing that really okay, again, history will not be kind to the 2010s. What really creeped me out having a front row seat to view on Tumblr is seeing like, all right, there was this weird cycle of like women who were scared to be sexual beings, and then they psyop themselves into not wanting to be sexualized.
Asexual, demi-romantic, panromantic.
Yes, but then
Yeah.
they prance around sexualizing themselves and needing to be the center of attention afterwards. Like, they don't want to be sexualized, then they become unsexy, then sexualize themselves in the name of empowerment.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a weird thing that they're doing with that,
Yeah.
like the flip flop of, oh, hey, don't look at me, but I'm gonna wear bright colors and act like an asshole that
Yeah,
you can't ignore.
it's like treat me like an object, but don't expect that you could treat me like an object.
Well, I remember
Yeah.
the manosphere people said that was more to do with like intra-female sexual competition rather than for the male gaze, which I mean,
I think it's like I think there is a kind of like probably like a natural healthy sort of like polarity between the sexes, and I think that then the way like Tumblr and also probably just an ambient kind of like just like the whole history of like women online probably hasn't been good. Like it really seems like more and more
God,
there are lots of like just you hear these like anecdotal stories about just girls being like groomed in chat rooms and things like that, and I think it seems like it was way more widespread.
Our generation, we like grew up by the time we hit like middle elementary school. That was like the discourse around online bullying and
yeah. So like there was that, and then Tumblr comes along, and it's like it's basically like a tool for identity formation. Like that's what all social media is. But the architecture of different social media enables you to construct yourself in different ways. And Tumblr is designed to allow for like reblogs. So you just get these like really like these kind of ideas of identity that would then spread like wildfire, and people's like pre-existing traumas or insecurities or fears were just magnetized to them, and they would kind of become invested in these like ideas. So if you're like like uncomfortable going through puberty, you start getting like sexual attention from older men inappropriately or whatever, and you don't know how to handle it, like I can absolutely see the attraction of like being like, oh, I'm asexual or I'm demisexual, or like adopting one of these kind of like weird identities that pushes and pulls attention away from itself, because it wants attention. People want attention, but there's always an ambivalence about it.
I think it's interesting how you have the dichotomy in female. Of course, be meeting a man, I'll never truly know. But there is like in puberty, there's that dichotomy between I think even Paglia, like a lot, this is very popular among feminist literature, even like going to who wrote The Second Sex, Beauvoir, so about like the dichotomy between women who there's like almost like this inherent trauma of like the gaze being put upon you, where that point in your life where men start to notice you sexually or other boys around you, but yet there's the other one, which I know women who I'm friends with that had the opposite experience, which is the expectation that the gaze will be set upon you, but it's not there because for whatever reason they think you're ugly or something, or fat or some bullshit, right? So that's like, but yet at the same time they end up with the same result of either I'm afraid of that gaze, or if that gaze does not visit me, then it's not so much the expectation of men, but rather like the expectation of other women in this like very brutal social hierarchy in high school of like women attacking each other.
It's like the Shags, that song "Philosophy of the World."
Oh,
It's like, well, the fat people want what the skinny people want, and the skinny people want what the fat people want.
yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
can never please anybody in this world.
But you know, Gio, you reminded me of something that I completely blocked out. Not because it's traumatic, but just it wasn't something that I was thinking about. Back in the day, I used to go over the offices of Fred Seibert, who had this thing called Frederator, Channel Frederator. I don't know if you remember it. Like, they used to do cartoons and stuff. And Fred's a very interesting guy. He was the first employee of MTV after Bob Pittman created MTV. And he was also one of the people who greenlighted Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls, like all those OG.
Yeah, he's done a lot of cartoons. He got I want to say the Kevin Smith podcast all started with the Frederator guys.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
They were
and
on
also
their
Adventure Time.
network.
And also Adventure Time. Fred is behind Adventure Time. But what's interesting
and
is that
before that, Lev, I just want to say I do want to talk about PYeerk. Oh my God, you got into this big argument with that fucking guy who wrote the stupid book about postmodern conservatism. Like, yeah, listen, my MA thesis was about postmodern conservatism. This guy's a total fucking tool.
Yes.
He doesn't know. Go and BTR, debate me, motherfucker.
Yes.
Just like James Lindsay. Debate me and Alex Kashuta. Fuck you. Sorry. I'm cutting a promo. I'm cutting
No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
I'll
challenge him to a debate right now.
I'm cutting an ECW era Shane Douglas promo where you get to say shit.
You gotta say rest in peace to our
By
guy,
the way,
New
rest
Jack.
in peace, New Jack.
Oh,
I love
New
you,
Jack.
big guy.
That broke my heart. Like, that hurt me. Listen, losing
man.
a Twitter account, who cares?
Yeah.
Losing New Jack
dying. Yeah.
There's only one New Jack.
One of the first times I
Ever.
ever saw New Jack was I downloaded a video off LimeWire back in the day. It was his match. The Vic Grimes one in XPW, but there was the Cage of Death with Zandig where he challenged Zandig. That was a huge moment.
He has done so much. I really wanted to work with him. I don't know if that would have been a wrestling match or what, or just in do like a crazy movie where it's New Jack as a superhero in a movie. How you doing, motherfucker? I'm New Jack, and I don't give a shit.
New Jack's shoot interviews are
legendary.
And what's great
nobody gives a shit as little of a shit as New Jack did. New Jack can tell you how he really feels.
What I always found charming about New Jack is how he was more or less the person you saw in the ring outside the ring. Very few
it's
people.
The same character.
Very few people got close to him.
The Rock said it best. Said the best way to be a pro wrestler is to take who you are and then turn the volume all the way up to its highest setting. Like, The Rock is an arrogant and confident guy, and that's where the you smell what I'm cooking comes from. Is one of the old timers backstage. I can't remember if it was Pat Patterson or Briscoe.
It was either Briscoe.
One of them walked up to him and said, "Son, you act like your shit don't stink." And Rock said to him, "Listen, if you smelled what I was cooking, you'd know it." and then he went out and said that, you smell what the Rock is cooking. Like, that just became a gag. And how many T-shirts did he sell off of that?
The best shoot interview with New Jack was when he was talking about the mass transit incident, where he's like, "That fat motherfucker wanted to bleed,
I cut him."
So he's like, "I cut him," and he's like, he wanted to come, and when that blood skidded out of his head.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. The guy,
you're looking down on us, bro.
There's a reason why we're sad that New Jack's gone, and we're just like, mass transit, like, he's dead, but New Jack's the guy. Like, we're sad about New Jack.
And what he did, I know he did some pretty terrible things in his life.
New Jack had 4 justified homicides as a bail bondsman.
He was a bounty hunter. He killed a dude.
A bail bondsman, yeah.
And you know what's crazy? This is something I've always found fascinating. How I forget.
We totally ruined this stream by talking about New Jack. But go ahead.
I think it was on Vlad TV where he was getting interviewed. He was like, "So you served time in jail? Mm-hmm. What'd you serve time in jail for? None of your business." It's like, okay. Yeah. And the crazy thing is, the last couple of interviews in his life, homeboy looked like he was dressing for church in Atlanta with fancy, beautiful 3-piece suits,
Well,
complete
his
with the hat
forehead.
on his lap.
Look at that forehead in
Yeah,
pictures
when he
of
was
New
blading
Jack.
all those years.
Oh
yeah.
my God! Like Abdullah
Yeah.
the Butcher had a bad one.
Yeah.
I heard stories that Abdullah, when we played cards with people, would take a poker chip and
Yep.
stick it into
And
the
he'd stick
holes.
it in his head, yeah.
Yeah.
They say
Oh,
that
man.
Ric Flair's skin on his head was like paper almost. He could just like cut it. Whoa! Look, there's a gusher arm. It's like,
Yeah.
All he has to do is
There should be a
Ric Flair
there should be
said.
a
Ric Flair had a quote. He said, "You know what, boys? Red means green." And that's
Yeah.
why he always bled like a stuck pig in all his matches.
I think we should add wrestling talk into the BTR bingo
We
or
will-
slash
we will have
Lev
a
stream
wrestling
bingo.
stream.
Specifically when Lev tries to say something and then he gets interrupted and all of a sudden it becomes about wrestling.
what were we gonna say, Lev? We were gonna, yeah, we cut you off there. But R.I.P. New Jack. You'll be
R.I.P.
missed.
R.I.P. whatever I wanted to say. No, okay, I'm gonna say what I wanted to say. So what I wanted to say was that in Frederator's office, the guy who was sharing the office with Frederator was the Tumblr guy, the guy who made Tumblr.
Oh God.
So Tumblr was produced
man.
within that same space. And it makes me wonder, like, serendipity, how exactly a lot of this stuff works when it comes to these things that end up influencing people. I mean, you could say that Steven Universe was a progenitor, or rather, Adventure Time was the progenitor of Steven Universe. And Adventure Time was something that Fred gave the green light on, and in Fred's office, the Tumblr guy was creating Tumblr. So it's very interesting how all these things end up interacting like that.
I do feel like Adventure Time is slightly sinister.
Oh yeah,
Like,
definitely.
There's something
Gnostic.
about like the animation style. I just a lot of those like new Adult Swim programs. This is like a weird like kind of tangent to go down, but there is something about like there's this the way they animate things is there's this kind of like uncanny biological quality to it. Like the way they'll like animate like characters dancing is like it's from the viewer's perspective of them dancing, even though it's supposed to be very fun, is like they're doing something kind of like fundamentally absurd. I feel like there is a sort of trace of the same kind of like Rick and Morty nihilism just in the like physical animation style of those shows.
Oh, well, I mean,
it's also very campy too, like in terms of the pastel color palette. It's very like high res, campy.
I've always dug how like on one
very pro certain demographic of people.
What I really I mean, eventually it started to steer towards that with a harder and harder bent. But in spite of that, Geo, I really love how like if memory serves me correctly, like it's not like they abstained from basic colors, is it? That like all the colors are like pastel, cream colored. No, Roijbiv, those are the basic colors, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some debate, but basically, it's the basic root color is cyan, natural blue, natural yellow, K, which is toner, so black. So that's
right.
which is more high chroma than like just. Yeah.
It does have like sinister. Well, it has sinister undertones, but like while Rick and Morty had like pop nihilism, which was more overt and over the top, like there are some Adventure Time episodes, and it's not just like the lurking under the surface, like dark undertones. Some episodes have like. I'm sometimes taken aback by some episodes have like. It's like a MST3K episode. Highbrow. It's like a unique blend of highbrow and lowbrow gags.
Yeah.
Like the occasional esoteric, cultural, and literary reference, and the occasional LOL poop like joke.
Yeah, it had a
lot
of like Hermetic and Gnostic themes as well, and a lot of like speculation around the mythology of.
That kind of takes place at like the end of history, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Which I feel like the landscape of Adventure Time is kind of like just a metaphorical, like rendering of the like weird landscape we all inhabit now,
Yeah. But also, well, go ahead, Lev. Yeah.
Well, the way like the art style that I have, I wouldn't say it's close to what kind of stuff that Adventure Time does. I mean, it is whimsical in its own way, but I feel like Adventure Time, it has that kind of very I don't know, like this, retro fanboyish type of thing going on with the, like the early video game sounds. You know what I mean? Like all of that kind of stuff.
It has the Technicolor sort of like the old school. Yeah. That's
I don't really feel like I grew up in that particular generation, like where they take pride in being a nerd, and I don't take pride in that. Rather, you know what I mean? Like,
also,
it's not something that's worth taking pride in.
Here's the thing about being a nerd is at some point it became like this cool thing, like you could be hip as the nerd. And it's like, I grew up like that's not at all the cool thing to do. Like, it's a weird thing to be like, oh, you like Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, you like video games. Oh, you're way into wrestling. Charlie, you're 13. What are you still doing watching pro wrestling?
I remember the transition from like middle school into high school where I went from being a nerd for liking card games and D&D and video games to suddenly being interesting and attractive to people.
For me, the transition to that was... the year I went to college. Once I went to college, suddenly all the shit that was dorky, suddenly it became cool, and I became the big man on campus that year. Had I stuck around
the big
college,
bastard on campus.
Yeah, I'm glad Gio recognized my my pronoun. I appreciate that. There's a Discord I'm in. It was a Dungeons and Dragons Discord, and they had all these crazy like pronouns and all the Zers and all this shit, and it had one that said other. So I clicked other, and I was like, oh, if anybody asks, I'm going to be the bastard. Bastard's my pronoun.
But no, it's funny how a lot of these animations, how like just in general with like the Tumblr culture thing, how a lot of them are so easy to like be absorbed in that particular like animation culture industry, and how like a lot of these characters got shipped to the point where like literally when Pendleton Ward left, the last season of Adventure Time, which I didn't watch. I did watch up till I think like season 6. It was like, Marceline and the Bubblegum Princess is like they're lesbians now. So it's like,
although that was kind of a cowardly retroactive continuity.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, the last one I caught had there was the bipolar fire princess who was like hot and cold towards him. I thought that was a fun character. That was the last one I caught on.
So Finn got eternally femcell cucked by his friend Marceline. So
yeah, the real adventure was that he's not going to get any pussy.
yeah. But even just in general, I think like in terms of art, like because the professional artwork just totally destroyed itself. Now it seems that the discourse around art itself is like largely driven by animation and people in the quote unquote industry. Like just the other week, there was that fucking guy who did the thread that was basically like a reheated Jacob Geller video about how liking like neoclassicism is fascist, and it's like, it seems that people around animation, around those quarters, because fine arts have sort of given up. All the people that talk about issues of art and aesthetics that get any traction are people that took animation or other like sort of art school pursuits rather than a fine arts program. But that being said, like, I mean, there to me, it's indicative again of like a greater sort of cementation of the culture industry itself and its ability to basically, for the lowest common denominator. I mean, the only time like the art world gets discussed by normies is like when some like stunt happens, like the Rockefeller Center monstrosity. That, by the way, me and Matthew the Stout, we just recorded a new Style Talks podcast on what's the guy's name? Sanford Biggers, and we recorded about the monument to wokeness that people were ripping on.
Yes, I saw
week.
that one.
So
Jason Giorgiani was.
You probably
not
went there.
happy,
Did you go to the
least.
Rockefeller Center, Lev, recently? Or?
Not recently, but I used to go there back in the day.
Yeah, you could probably go by there and you'll probably see it. It's there till June, apparently. But yeah, so another thing, the thread that you were responding to the guy that wrote that awful Zero Books book, Postmodern Conservatism, about reading Edmund Burke shows that conservatism is about defending traditional hierarchies. Wow. Wow. No.
No shit, Sherlock.
But you said something that I think is important. You said that, okay, let's talk about the human capacity to reason and precisely how it's deployed by the contemporary left to rationalize anything for sex work to giving children puberty blockers. I don't know if you know, you watched the Ayala reverse debate we had where I was put on the spot. To me, it's indicative, I think, of the weaponization of reason itself. And for a long time, I would say till the 80s, till the mid 90s, until the 2010s, you had this phenomenon where the left embraced sort of like this Rousseauian like return to a sort of irrationalism and a romanticism, and a lot of it, like the New Age movement, for instance, like the Free Tibet stickers and all that stuff. To me, like the fetishization of indigenous cultures is another thing. So, but now we're seeing the real true face of the global left, which is hyper rationality to the point where it can justify pretty much any sort of mechanical exchange or operation or commodity fetishism between people. So, and you said that reason itself, let me look it up. You said to this Sood, you said, because your conception of transcendental authority, again, this is just like post-Kantianism. To me, the SJWs really come from Kant rather than Marx. Is itself an abstraction, a mental object, which you are correctly discerning not to exist, which is why Burke attempts to orient you towards the beautiful and the sublime, that they are real. And you said that reason itself does not produce... I forget your exact words. I'm trying to find your reply.
Value, I think I said.
Value, yeah. I was going to say human flourishing, but value, you said that. Yeah, so maybe go ahead, like, what's the disagreement? So this article that came out in Jacobin magazine about how, like...
Yeah, I mean, he kept trying to, like,
obvious.
get me... Like, he kept saying I was kind of trying to, like, disagree with his presentation of Burke, which it seemed like a pretty, fine, superficial introduction to his ideas. But he kind of, like, used Burke to introduce this defense of reason via Burke's critique of it, right? Which is that, like, Burke was suspicious of reason because it sort of I guess because it in a way it's sterile, doesn't produce anything, and it's not like connected to what Burke called the beautiful and the sublime. Right? I mean, I don't know. I'm not like an expert on Burke, but
he was he was more so of the other end of that, like, Scottish Enlightenment tradition, where he was almost like going towards like a counter Enlightenment position of like a right wing version of Rousseau in some ways. Which I guess, I mean, some Burke scholars would like cringe at that, obviously.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, I see the way that, like, reason is invoked as a kind of like almost a kind of like negative authority, and I think science is also invoked in the same way, especially when you have things like people arguing over the definition of sex, or arguing that sex is socially constructed, right? Which is done in this kind of like scientistic way, which is to say that, like, there's no reason why we can't, like, give puberty blockers to children. There's no, like, scientific reason not to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like the question of consciousness itself, like the subjectivity of these children, the entire, like, matrix of, like, social influences that are brought to bear on these, like, kids, is completely, like, excluded from this like rationalistic framing of the situation. Right? Which is like, there's no transcendental authority, like, to stop us from doing this thing. So that must mean it's fine, And it's very interesting to me, like, that, even though then people will make this distinction between saying, like, okay, well, we don't need to believe in a transcendental, higher authority in order to, like, still be concerned about consciousness, right?
Right.
Like, you can say, well, we can still acknowledge consciousness as a factor. It does seem like this is sort of like product of a kind of atheistic way of thinking that leads people into this, like, hyper rationalistic point of view, that somewhere in there consciousness ends up being excluded, because there's, like,
I don't know. There's no like authority to ground the value of consciousness in, and I think
Well-
that's because you know, consciousness produces reason, right? So it's always prior to reason, and that means that reason can't justify consciousness itself. You know.
Right. But also another thing too is that it's really impossible for them to posit any sort of counteract again, like any sort of discourse that would counteract anything but the like total libertine proliferation of autonomy in all regards, up until and including pedophilia. And I will say this, but here's my argument though, because they posit that consciousness is already a property inherent within itself with no explanation, because that's like sort of the faculties of the understanding, which is consciousness, and needs to posit reason to then explore the world, blah blah, basic Kant stuff, right? Critique of pure reason. So they have to formulate the subject as being totally within a paradigm of having the capacity for reason itself at all moments, at all acts, in all things in life.
Yeah.
Up to and including children. So you are born into the world as a free, totally atomized, autonomous individual.
Yeah.
And there's no such thing as childhood development. There's no such thing as a greater collective obligation to raise children within a matrix of influences.
I think it's like
you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
The child is already an individual. Like they even say child now. They say little human.
Yeah.
Like, that's totally fucking terrible.
I know, that's gross. Like I think
gross.
I really think it's a kind of like, to borrow a concept of Harold Bloom and kind of expand it, I really think it's like anxiety of influence.
You know, we put down mad dogs. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, are we going to talk about putting people
huh?
down? Because I think putting people down is a very, very good option.
Oh, you remember back in Looney Tunes, they used to have the classic mad dog with the foam. We don't see those anymore. Where did those go?
That's such a great gag where they would get into shaving cream or something. We're talking about the guys like certain things like you know, if you've got a guy dead to rights and you know he done it, like you know, like you talk about the Menendez brothers, like there's a bunch of people talking about, oh, you got to let them out. All they did was kill their parents because they were molested. It's like,
I saw that.
Like I don't know. Like
I mean, I would still say that there is a slippery slope when it comes to, can you prove somebody did something beyond a reasonable doubt?
Right.
Like
sometimes,
that is still like with DNA tests. They have come out and they've noticed that people who they thought were guilty were actually innocent.
Oh, there's a
yet
ton
they got
of that.
The chair.
And
yeah,
so for that reason,
you can't rely on a DNA test, but if you have them dead to rights, they were caught in the act, they did it. Like, all right, so what's the harm in having a death penalty? If you're a murderer, all right, you know what you get.
I
Killed.
think someone said it the best in a comment section in some like prison documentary, where the people that like in American society in prison, the people that shouldn't be there probably shouldn't be in prison, like in terms of like physical confinement. But the people that like should be in American prisons probably should just have been executed anyways. So it's like
I think
don't know.
I think Adam Carolla said it best. He said, "You know, I'm really into big titties. I love big titties, and I'm a big titties guy. Like you're never gonna talk me out of loving big titties. And the kind of guy who's gonna go out and molest kids, probably not gonna be talked out of it.
No,
so
never.
you know, it's just like a mad dog."
Yeah.
But my argument, the reason I bring that up is just the absurdity of like.
Why couldn't China put those guys?
Yeah,
into
it's like people are like, you know, like this fetishization of autonomy.
Yeah.
Right. Which means that they have to like generalize it, and also because like they don't know how to like value a person without like seeing it through the lens of autonomy, right? They don't know how to like value the life of a child without having to like project this kind of like capability to reason and make adult decisions into them.
And notice how a lot of the certain particular kind of discourse, without naming who, is always geared towards children. Like if you ever like do like I did this thread, I unfortunately had to delete because of some ghoul that I encountered. But I will post it one day again. I screen capped it, where I talked about like how they're going to normalize this stuff. And how if you look into like the quote unquote child liberation people, it's like this weird, like I never grew up Peter Pan but at the same time, I'm doing some really
Yeah.
creepy, lurid, degenerate. Like even just the word degenerate itself is like they have to reinvent this whole like discourse about how it didn't exist before the 1930s. But that's a side note. But the point being is that like they're trying to like retroactively do this thing where children are oppressed.
Who is doing that thing?
Well, you know, like what would you call him? I believe that there's some kind of demonic force going on in the background, but no, they're the people that talk in this like Tumblr lingo that still is now being ingrained with.
That's what Amy Therese called Nambla leftism.
Nambla left. Yes. By the way,
how much are they aware?
I gotta show you guys something. But
yes.
Wait a second.
I'm just curious, like, how many of them are even aware that they're doing it in that way, that it's intentionally going to fuck somebody up, and how many of them are just going with the flow of whatever their pea-sized brain considers to be right?
Oh,
like,
well, I mean, wasn't it Aldous Huxley who once said something to the effect of, if you could get 25% of the population to go along with something, that's the minimum you need for everyone else to get on board with it? So, like, with these kinds of people, I believe that some are just going through the motions because they're in a weird position where they could be fired for it's not just that they could be fired not for not saying Black Lives Matter, but they could be fired for saying something like not saying Black Lives Matter loud enough, you know? So there are these people.
Yeah.
It turns into North Korea, the crying thing, where guys were beaten because they didn't cry hard enough.
Right. So, or like in Cuba, like, Castro died. If we don't see you at the morning funeral ordeal, like, there's hell to pay. So I think there are enough of these people that truly believe that they're going to die on the right side of history. Like, they're going to be like on their deathbed. And they're going to be like, oh, if I get into arguments with
you get into arguments with them.
I get into arguments with people about like whether or not like kids should be given like puberty blocking drugs, right? And there are some people who are like what are you talking about? That's crazy. Like no one's arguing that, you know.
Literally, they argue that.
And I always just think like in about a year you'll be arguing that. Like, you know, you're underestimating like. You've already gone this far, you know. You're underestimating your capacity to like completely revise your past beliefs because you will.
Would it be too much? Would it be too much to ask people? Oh, sorry. Would it be too much to ask to make a movement where we would encourage people to loudly and proudly announce that, hey, most of us will never have a good idea or a good grasp of what's really going on. We have too much stuff to do. There's too much stuff to learn. We don't know what's going on, and we're proud of that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
but in regards to the whole, like, eventually they'll be talking about that. Like, it'll only become a matter of time where something that you do support will eventually say, all right, but in order to support this X thing that you're behind, you also have to support hormone blockers in children.
Yeah.
And if you say no,
exactly. But this is it because these things are based on they like grow out of like regimens of sentiment, you know, that are like organized as like they're like it's like a self-help like an RPG tree that you ascend.
Self-care, that's, you know, the discourse.
And so like it's very easy, like there are all these like autobiographical narratives that people use to explain their ascent to these ideas, right, and to like manufacture their own reason for believing in them. Right, and actually, it's like the real reason they go
out and go back.
By the way, shout out to our great patron Forever Young, who says I'm a part of that movement, and so am I, Forever Young. So am I, as far as people who constantly doubt that they know, what there is to know about what's going on. And by the way, Patreon.com/BreakTheRules. I mean, we didn't promote it at all during this broadcast, so I'm gonna promote it right now. Become a patron, and you are gonna get the beautiful, definitely legit magnet. Here is another definitely legit magnet, and it has glowing eyes. See, I mean, the eyes is hollow, but I could put it like next to a lamp or something, or you could put a little light bulb in there, and so when you put it on the fridge, it'll look like definitely legit's eyes are glowing just like they are meant to glow.
Very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, or lady and gentlemen, very sorry, Kat. Real quickly, I've got to start making my way out. I've got a vamoose, but before I leave, Eark, I have one last question, and this is not a thread or tweet related question. All right, listen, buddy, your profile picture is badass. It's like an old timey version of someone going, "You fucking say something to me, buddy." Like it's low
Like the
key
Wild
threatening.
West.
It's low key threatening, and I've been dying of curiosity where it comes from.
Oh yeah, sure, man. It's a picture of Alfred Jarry.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Because
He
I like
wrote
the
Ubu plays.
where like you know where like someone is making just enough eye contact with you to be like, now go home and get your fucking shine box. Like that's the look on his face right there. So
Yeah.
Listen, ladies and jerks, I got a vamoose. Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure. And
Thank you for being here.
Listen, I hope you all have a seamless, if not BS-free start to your week tomorrow. Invest in Lev. Follow Mask Bastard on Twitter.
Yes, and follow Stain Haynes,
Yeah.
718 TV.
That's right.
And
Subscribe
Twitch
to subscribe to 718 TV. And follow twitch.tv/Monoxus, ladies and
Here it is. Here it
Muno
is.
XX
I also
us.
have to head out. I was supposed to leave at 4, but I was enjoying the conversation between Geo and Yeerk, so I just kind of sat in.
All right, well, I definitely appreciate you coming on, Monoxus, and you could follow Monoxus on Twitch and
Yes.
also on Twitter, of course.
Twitch is the one I like the most. Go over to Twitch and follow me.
Yeah, you
Yes,
guys
go-
stream Saturdays, right?
Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Wednesdays and
every other day
Saturdays.
is up in the air. Depends on if we're busy or not.
Nice.
Excellent. And after you go, I do have one other thing that I wanted to share. I do have an idea that I wanted to quickly run by everybody, which is, since I have the drawing thing, we could potentially in the future have like one of those, what is that game called where you have to guess what something is by drawing it? You know what I mean? Like
Pictionary.
Pictionary.
Pictionary, yes.
Do the
we-
Jackbox one. Bet
Yes.
it's way better.
Dude. I really recommend having a Jackbox stream where like basically everyone is playing Pictionary, and in all fairness, even if you're fucking Pablo Picasso, it all depends on what the crowd likes and doesn't like. So, I mean, I'm not saying you're going to win just by drawing dicks at Mr. Hands every round, but you could get to the semifinals just by drawing dicks at Mr. Hands.
Wow. All right. I'm definitely going to have to take a look at that. That sounds great. So yeah.
I hope...
before you go, though,
yes.
So Yeerk mentioned Amy Therese. So I managed to print my Amy Therese woodblock. So here's
Ooh.
the first, I believe. Well, this isn't the proof print, but this is like one of them.
Hey!
Oh damn.
Wait. Nobody talk when Gio's showing stuff on the screen, or else it switches to you.
So this is the print, and I had laying around like because I use different forms of wood, but this is more woodcut where you're using the side grain. I had this like really shitty piece of birch ply that I used to practice on a long time ago, but it was effective for this purpose because I like how it gives it a nice like grainy, like textural type of feel to it. So it worked out good. I mean, this is on Japanese mulberry paper, but I have ones on like more like typical printmaking paper.
So
which
is that
comes
like
up more.
is that like proof of concept art for mass production?
Yeah, well, yeah. So this is a good print, but then like what you do is you do what they call a blotter print, which I don't typically do because I tend to just like crop the edges and I'll glue it when I sell them. I'll glue it to like a more sturdier like watercolor piece of paper. But no, what they do is like a proof print is usually with like cheaper paper, just to like see if they need to cut more. But no, it came out pretty good. And I felt like it's got like basically what I wanted, which was more of a Kathy Kollwitz type of vibe. So
It looks gorgeous, dude.
yeah, I hope it looks scary enough. So it's
Was it Jack who said that it was like a glittering image?
Yeah,
that
I
part.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, I hope you
bro.
all have a lovely rest of your weekend, a great start to your week tomorrow.
And Gio, listen, I hope that ends up on coffee mugs, T-shirts, massage wands,
Imagine that.
coasters.
Yeah.
Dude, I hope
What's
to see
left could sell it as merch, and I could get a portion of that. That could be.
I
amazing.
hope to see that
Yeah.
on the hoodie of some art ho taking a selfie in front of something in Manhattan like years from now.
I hope it ends up on the Red Scare subreddit so people can they can tell I'm some fucking reactionary incel that's simping for Amy Therese.
Muchachos y caballeros, más tarde tienen un día.
I always
Take
found
care,
God
dude.
bless you. my
Adios,
friend.
Stain. Adios.
Take
I
care.
always found the
I got a piece out
Monoxus
too,
too.
gents. Yes, yes.
I always
thank
found
you
the
for
word,
having a
words.
good day.
Take care, buddy.
Hey, bro.
Take care, Monoxus.
Adios. I always found the word reactionary, like the way it's used as a derogatory slur. Who doesn't want to react to stuff? Are you just going to sit there and take it up the ass?
That was like the lingo. PYeerk, you probably know more, but wasn't it invented by the during the Weimar period, the triple arrows people? What are they called?
Oh, I don't
No
know.
shit.
That would make
Yeah.
sense.
The original Antifa people.
Those guys, yeah.
Yeah.
The,
Like, oh, we're also against communism, but not really. It's like
Yeah.
It's
And
more against
ironically
fascism
enough,
and
wasn't it
monarchism.
the Democratic Socialists, the Freikorps, that ended up being the ones to dispense with them and
Yeah, I know,
unleash the Nazis? But by the way, I wanted to share something with you guys right now. So I was looking through my old Facebook photos, and I found 1 second over here. So I found well, first of all, this is my cat. Hold on, why am I
Very nice.
cute, right? Yeah, Steve over here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Steve.
but I also found these old artworks that I used to do. So this one over here is called Oiled Pigman. And what I'm curious from you guys is, which of these works would you like to see being turned into like a full-fledged left card? Like, this is back from 2015.
That's
or
pretty
even-
scary, big boy.
even
He's like
earlier.
He's like some cholo demon.
He looks a little bit like the tiger guy. What's his name?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does. I noticed that.
Yeah,
Tiger
the
King.
Tiger King. He looks a lot
Yeah.
like Tiger King. Hot damn, he really does.
Yeah, he has like this poison coming out of him, and yeah, he's got the earring and everything. Man, what a coincidence. So next we have, well, this is just like a profile picture. I used to draw people on the trains. So next we have Father Fred. So what do you
Oh
think
my
of Father
God.
Fred? This
He
is
kind of
supposed
looks
to be...
like John Goodman. Who's a
kind of,
demon.
yeah. This is supposed to
God.
be. This is supposed to be like a holographic card. See, like all the
Yeah, I
holographic
see
stuff.
more. I see more Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
I see more Danny DeVito as well. I think.
Yeah. This
Yeah. Oh,
eyes.
this is me and Tony.
Hey, it's
Hinchcliffe
long,
over
hard,
here.
long hair Lev.
Yeah.
Oh
He had
damn.
long hair. Yeah.
Yeah, with the Tony Kill Tony poster that I had. So
Nice.
this is Passenger. It's like a tank man. Notice how badly the tank rails were drawn. These were all drawn on my phone, by the way. This is why they look kind of weird.
Oh man, I
wow.
like Passenger, dude. That's my
That's
favorite one
nice.
so far. He's got like a nice kind of compact, vibe going on.
He's
I
got a
don't know
nice
how to
natural
describe it.
shape.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that Lev always does like these weird biomechanical things.
Yeah.
But it's not quite Love. What's the guy in his name? Not Lovecraft. H.R. Geiger. H.R.
Yeah.
Geiger. Yeah.
Giger,
It's
yeah.
not
So
quite
next-
the like machinery things that he does. It's like his own thing.
So
Herman
this
Cain?
one over. Yes, Herman Cain. So you
Herman
see,
Sugar Cane.
Yeah, that's
He,
him, all right.
so the way that it works
That was
is
a true capitalist radio reference right there. Herman Sugar Cane. Yeah,
his
so-
so this guy's arms come out of his mouth, so his teeth grow in such a way like he has to smash through his teeth in order to make the holes, so his hands can dangle this fancy space cane.
Don't
that you see
whales
over
have
here.
like a thing? Don't whales have like a filter on their mouth or something? Or is
Maybe.
that just a meme? Is that
yeah,
just
yeah. Like a
Don't whales
blowhole.
have a thing?
And you
yeah,
see-
it's like they have like it catches krill. It's like a
Yeah. I think it's
And
called a grill.
And somebody could play what's the XO game? What is that? Tic-tac-toe. Somebody could play tic-tac-toe on his fin. You see over here the X's and the O's. So next, what do we have? Next we have Mahoney. So this is Mahoney, like a space alien looking jellyfish.
Oh my
thing.
god, it looks like early Kyler from from Squidbillies.
That's
Yeah,
one.
you
The
you ever play this-
Unforgiven.
Oh, nice.
No god. Looks like
Play
Blazer
this like
from John-
Newgrounds game called Alien Hominid.
Oh, yeah. It does
Yeah.
kind
He knew
of
the guy
have a
that
similar
made
mouth
Alien
design.
Hominid.
Yeah, Tom Fulp. I met him. So next we
Because
have
Lev started off in the Newgrounds with the Newgrounds people. So
Oh, really?
kind of,
Nice.
yeah.
his
So next we
animation
have
to watch too on his channel.
So next we have
D. Williams?
William. Williams.
I think
Yes.
that's a porn star, D. Williams. Don't ask me how I know that.
I know. This is supposed to be like kind of like a bodyguard type guy, and I think there's another version named F. Williams somewhere over here that I can find. Oh, yeah. Oh, La La La. We have La 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 over here.
Nice.
And,
You know what La 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 looks like? Do you know that, like, I don't know, like these Zoomers, like these post-Tumblr Zoomers, do you know that one panel that everyone watches? Not watches, the meme panel of, like, the really ugly girl that's, like, I watched this thing when I was a kid, I watched this thing in the 90s, and she's, like, struggling because it's, like, transphobic, homophobic, whatever. Like, do you know that one I'm referring to?
Oh
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh damn. That's
Kinda
horrific,
looks-
man.
Yeah.
That's,
Oh, by the
Kinda
way, you
looks
see all
like
these.
the girl
you
that's
see-
being drawn.
You see all these hamsters over here. These are the things that I used to do as part of the hamsterization project, where I would draw people as hamsters. So, you know,
my
like
God.
their names are attached and everything, and I did it for free. And this hamster, by the way, this is Keiko. This is the Japanese woman I told you about who has that Stop Asian Hate BLM
I thought it
thing.
was a chin,
So-
but there's two arms there. I thought it was
Yes.
like pronounced chin. So
Yes, exactly. Oh man, this is me drawing on the train. So this girl took a picture of me drawing her on the train. This
Oh,
is
wow.
yeah, back in the day, huh? But anyway, okay,
Look at those
let's
little
forward.
noodle arms. I can smoke
Let's
those
forward here.
arms.
So here's no, they definitely were. This is why I'm working out right now. So this is activated snowman. He's
Did you watch that one? I think a part of it was filmed where I'm near where I live. The Christmas Story movie. Where
Yeah,
it reminds me
I
of the light.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, the Fragile light. So
Yeah, I know exactly the one you're talking about. Hold on, I want to find F. Williams, because I showed you D. Williams, and I really want to find F. Williams. I just have to scroll up here and find him, because I'm sure he's somewhere around here. Oh, you know where he probably is? He's probably in my Instagram. Yeah, what am I doing? So, let me go into, hold on, Instagram. Lev Polyakov, here we go. Okay, so let me see. Instagram. This is my Instagram. You can see all my monster designs over here. Let me move this to the side so you guys have a better
God.
view of what exactly is going on here. So yeah, you can see all these kind of all these weird creatures here. I got these are like works in progress. But if I scroll down over here, oh, this is me and Lee Sayat, by the way, the Flying Jew. So this was its Kangfest. This is why I keep having dreams about it. So, okay, keep scrolling down. I'm gonna get to them eventually. Hold on. Here's an evil-looking chef. Look at this evil chef.
that's the
So-
that's actually highly racist against us Italians. That's the equivalent of the smoke shop Indian for us Italians.
And look at this. This is fish in the farmer's market that
Oh,
looks like a
God.
girl's butt with a bikini. Right? Doesn't it?
Oh my God.
Doesn't it
is
look
it
like a
being
girl's
like?
butt?
Is it being sold like
Yeah.
in that? Okay.
Yeah. It's being sold like that. So,
The thing is, apparently you could find everything in Trader Joe's in New York. Like the whole world exists in Trader Joe's in New York. You could find. You can find
here's
anything,
Graham.
right?
Here's Graham Hancock and Daniel
Daniel
Pinchback. Yeah.
Who will never come on the show ever again. So after what happened.
Never say never. I mean, and this is like the big electric elf. This is electric elf over here. You can see like the big sketch.
That's your
And
other NFT, yeah.
Yeah, and this is like the individual bits. See, like if you click on each of the Instagram things, you get a little animation of the individual bits, and this is like the full animation. But this is like when he was in card form. This is what he looked like. But anyway, I'm gonna keep scrolling down because I'm this is like my old school artwork that I used to do. Like this is called Hell, and you see there's like a tutu man over here, and there's like a spectral demon over here, and like the bad guy from Clockwork Knight. So this is a clown thing over here. Let's see. Yeah, this is it's just a clown. Anyway, let's keep scrolling down over here. Scrolling down. I want to get to the good stuff. The good stuff's on the bottom. So this is like a lot of people who I drew over here.
A lot of sketches.
A lot of sketches. Oh, here we go. Okay. finally we're at the cards. So this is what I wanted to show. So let me change the view here one more time.
Yeah,
And everybody...
that's definitely Lev style right there, like this weird contraption living thing.
Yes, and everybody...
I like this one. It looks like it belongs in a video game. It looks like it belongs in Fallout or something.
Yeah, like he'd be like a little robot thing flying around or hanging on walls or something.
Slagru, interesting. Okay, then I have a Zitar over here.
Look at those ears.
Yeah, very big ears, sitting on some kind of wooden thing. Then I have, this is Tweeg.
I like
Tweeg.
guy with his eyes closed. That was a good one.
Yeah, guy with his eyes closed. Feely over here. We got Feely.
Kind of like a bit like a Magic Roundabout vibe to them as well, I would say.
A bit, yeah. This is Zower. Notice, by the way, the energy card, like in Pokemon, this is just like a skull with like horns on it, like a demonic thing. This is Norman, like a fish creature over here. This is Slaloom, a scary-looking motherfucker here. Mr. Wellspring.
That guy looks like he wants to sell me something. Let me put you in a nice condo, buddy.
This is Tupac Shakur. I guess it's kind of like Tupac Shakur. And this is Shrieking.
Yeah, or also like Mighty Booster reminds me of slightly as well.
Yeah, there's like a wiggly, tentacly...
Yeah, I gotta take a look at that. Terrorist. It's like a pterodactyl.
Wow.
Terrorist, yeah, like a terrorist pterodactyl. This is Christo. Speaking of Mad Dog, he's got the foam.
Oh, he's got the foam.
He's got the foam on the mouth. So this is Skrillo. I think there's like a band named Skrillo, isn't there? Like
I know there's some Skrillex is the guy. He's the music guy.
Yeah. I think that's where it was derived from. More sketches of people. Love or Truth. So this is Love or Truth. And this is like a psychic kind of a weird looking pyramid head guy. This is V Satisfaction. And he's got like all these tentacle like wire arms. And notice like the drip. There's like a gap
this guy.
over here.
He's my energy. I think.
There's like a gash. He has like a gash for a mouth. It's just like dripping all this slime over here. It's like two people in one. So this is C Satisfaction. Okay, so this is V Satisfaction, and this is C Satisfaction. And next we have over here, this is just, Activity. This is Activity, kind of like Golem, like the Pokemon Golem, kind of like a round guy, also with like a blowhole on top that you saw Tweeg before. More stuff from Only Love over here. The zombies from Only Love. If you guys haven't seen Only Love, by the way, please see it. It's a really great animated film that I did back in 2007, back in third year of School of Visual Arts. Here we have Herman Cain. This is Balan Seer over here. Very awkward-looking creature.
Oh, I like this guy.
More slime, coming off of him,
He looks like he belongs in a Doom video game. Like
kind of, yeah, but he's very off balance, though. Yeah. Okay, this is Sneedle over here.
Sneedle.
Sneedle, like a snow type.
God.
This is Marrow Man. He's got a piece of bone with marrow in it. And yes, and I am keeping score. So let me know which ones you guys like, which ones you want to see redone in like a traditional left card NFT. This is Dominique, kind of like a tropical vibe coming from him, like a techno tropical vibe. This is Nostrum over here, a double-nosed witch lady. Let's see over here. More of these people that I drew on the train. Katniss. This is a cat with a city on top of it.
Cat.
Like a pipe.
Oh, God.
Yeah. yeah, exactly. That's where I got it from. I got it from the Hunger Games. You are absolutely right about that, Gio. This is Slack Duck with two flags in the back. Let's see, more people, more Duck. This is just Duck. Duck, nerdy looking guy over here.
I like to think of it more as Duke.
Duke, sure, yeah, we can go Duke, we could go Duck, whatever boats your float. This is Slim Pig. So he is slim, and he is a pig man.
So instead of Slam Pig, it's Slim Pig.
He looks like he's up to no good.
Yeah, well, look at those teeth. Like, he's probably been slamming something, Like, okay, so next we have, more of these guys. Brow Bat. Very angry-looking bat creature. I think I used somebody's shirt as the background for this, by the way. So, next we have over here more... Okay, Aga. We have Aga, very awkward-looking creature. Smeg over here, very pissed-off-looking guy. Candy Love. This is Candy Love. It's a candy type. And you can see she's had a lot of Molly. She's just jamming. This is Toucanosaurus.
What the fuck?
Tyrannosaur. I can just imagine him just like doing a hula hoop with his magic ring all the time, and I like his 20s haircut. And this is Spanna. I kind of like her. She's kind of cute, isn't she? Spanna. What do you think of Spanna?
I don't like it because it has the My Little Pony energy to it.
Oh, okay. Well, fine.
Some of it just doesn't appeal to me.
I like these portraits that we're seeing.
Oh,
like,
thank you.
by as
Yeah.
well, though. They're very
So
cool.
I did these on my phone when I was in the subway. I was just drawing.
That's awesome, man.
Just drawing the people on the phone. And let's see, this is Old Nam, kind of like flipping Old Man into Old Nam. He has kind of like an H.P. Lovecraft vibe. And this is H-Man. I think he's my favorite. What do you think of H-Man?
H-Man?
Yeah, H-Man. That's
he's got a sneaky... I don't know why, it just... A lot of these are reminding me of, like, John Kay, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I am kind of influenced by... Oh, by the way, look how pissed off she... Not pissed off, she just looks tired. This gal, she just looks tired. And let's see, more of these guys. I think I had them before. Okay, here we go. Twee. This is like some weird shadow creature. Next we have... Spano. So this is Spano.
Oh, he's pretty cool.
So this is an evolutionary line. So he evolves into this guy.
Oh, like a Digimon.
Yeah, exactly. Seraph Spano. And that's probably where I got Seraph from. So this is like his first evolution, second evolution. But where's his first one? This is his first one. Goat Avatar. So Goat Avatar is like this slime that's made from Demon Goat, which you will see soon enough. So he will turn into this guy, and then he'll turn into that guy. So if we go back over here, this is Guatemala. Kind of like a...
Guatemala?
Yeah, kind of like a South American theme, kind of like a Mexican thing. You see the guy with the sombrero over here standing.
The thing you gotta do when you have like a Digimon evolution thing going on is you make the most powerful one look kind of like skinny or something, like less powerful, and then that hints at like a hidden power.
That's true. Yeah, like some of the later Digimon evolutions, they were pretty slimming. Oh, carrier pigeon. We have.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a shoot to him.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing this thing in real life. I mean, holy shit.
You want to shoot him down instantly. Oh my god.
This is waxed out. You can imagine him just like doing a dance like this.
I like that one a lot. That's
with his arm.
That's very charming.
Yeah, waxed out. Okay, more of these guys. Everybody subscribe, by the way. Okay, this is Snarpy. This Snarpy, very angry looking shark creature. This is Terron, another like jellyfish creature over here. Okay, more of these guys. This is holy shit, his name is Sunny. This is like before I even knew what Sunny was.
Thank God.
This is like this is Sunny X, and Sunny X is like just like Broly from Dragon Ball Z. He got so strong that his gold became green. So same thing over here. This is why it's like a sun creature, but it's like plasma green. This is Lincoln, like Abraham Lincoln, kind of crying over here. Oh, this is Diablo Fez, the dragon form of Diablo Fez, and this is I think the regular Diablo Fez is coming up here just in a bit here. Let me just keep scrolling here. More of the people. Wait, Jew, you want to I cut you off.
No, a good ending topic would be no, we'll be here for 5 hours. No, about the recent whoopsies, oohs, uh-ohs that are happening in the Middle East right now, between you know who's.
Between Team Jacob and Team what was the Team Edward?
Jacob would be the origin, and after, because Jacob became Israel. Wait, no, it was so Jacob. Oh yeah,
Jacob's
you're right.
a werewolf. He's a werewolf, and Bella.
And who's the main guy?
I was gonna say Team Edward.
Pattinson's character.
The guy with the bad haircut.
No, you guys are talking about the different. No, I know what you guys are talking about.
We're just talking about Twilight.
No,
we're big fans of Twilight here. This is
but I want to remember the other name. Hold on, I want to remember the other name. The
Disgusto looks like. Oh my god, Disgusto looks kind of like who is the landlord from Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
Oh, Carl.
Carl.
Oh, no,
yeah,
no,
kind of looks like
Carl?
Carl.
Yeah.
No, but Carl's like all tan. No, what I was gonna say
Oh, it
is
don't
that
matter.
No,
None of this
Jacob.
matters.
Okay, wait. Jacob was Jacob is Israel, and Jacob was the son of hold on. What is wrong with me? Hold on. Isaac, and
Are you
Isaac
gonna
was
start
the son of
singing,
Abraham.
KRS-One?
Ishmael. There we go. So really, it's not Jacob.
There's the KRS-One song that goes through the 12 tribes of Israel.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was
No, Buff.
what was the song?
It's not Esau. So this is damned, by the way, because this guy is damned for destruction over here.
He
And,
looks like he's damned.
And this is Devtar, another demonic entity over here. This is Tingal. You could tell like he just wants to, with his arms here. Okay, let's see. I think we're almost. Okay, this is Brost, giving the thumbs up over here. Another demonic. This is Frogster. Let's see what else here. Wait, I think
I like that one the most out of.
He kind of looks like Logo Daedalus, by the way, doesn't he?
A little bit, but
Right.
but his face is like more like slimmer and like sheer drop like on the edge, but
kind of. This is nothing number 3. This is nothing. This is Runster.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Let's see what we got here. This is. Oh, okay.
Wait,
so
go back to the guy in the mask. Yeah, that guy could be. Looks like he. You know what he looks like? He kind of looks like one of those animations you'd find from the National Film Board. Kind of like he looks like one of those like
it looks
dowry
like,
characters.
He looks like this most dour, like Russian, like I do not have any will to do anything.
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
must do
exactly.
everything.
Yeah, I love
He's that guy.
I wonder what happened to this guy in real life.
So this is Diablo Boy's dragon form, and this is Easy Rider.
I like that one.
I love the fact that I turned his tongue into a car that he perpetually has to follow all the time. And there's like this guy in a top hat who's like steering the car, like just. So, yes, over here. So then we have this guy. Then we have this guy or gal. I don't know. Some trucker guys over here. Yeah, we've seen Brost already. We've seen Frogster. I don't know why it's repeating itself. Here, let me just quickly just go down over here, just getting to the nitty gritty. So of the ones that you have not seen yet. So I'm just gonna scroll all the way down, all the way down. We've seen Mr. H. We've seen Tingal. We've seen these characters. Okay, just real quick. I'm just gonna finish this off. So we have Skunky Demon. We have Jumping Bee, very menacing looking face. And then we have, keep scrolling down, then we have Holy. This is Holy because he's got some holes in him. This is Shambles. This is Nothing number 5. This is Dr. Duklex, kind of a mad scientist vibe. This is Earthworm. This is Earthworm. Wait, they're both Earthworm? Hold on, I must have misnamed something. This is Dolphin.
Oh, God.
This is Splatterpuss. This is Cloist.
I like Cloist. He's my favorite.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
Cloist is your favorite.
Cloist is
this
good.
is this. Okay, so this is Bird Off Depression form, but this is Bird Off
This is the
Hostility
smartphone.
form.
This is when you tweet on it. This is when you're popular on Twitter.com. This is what happens to you.
This is Yes Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Splurf.
Splurf. This is okay. Hold on, we've seen these guys before. Okay, so this is Slappy. He slaps you. This is Beard. This is Color Master.
Oh, good. That's a good
This
one.
is Bake Master. You know, he kind of looks like burnt toast. This is Spony. What do you think of Spony?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
okay.
Like
This
a
is
horse.
Grudge. This is
I like Grudge. I like him. He
Now that guy's got a set of titties.
This is
Jam
Jam All.
He looks like
he
a
belongs
toilet.
in like a Spungle animation.
He looks like he wants you to piss in him.
This is CC Bear.
I hate this one. That's terrible.
What?
It's like it's got the like it's so evil. I don't know. It's just terrible. I don't like him.
This is Spinja.
That looks like a Pokemon character.
Yeah,
right there.
and this is Barone, named
Frank
after
Barone?
a kid from my Catholic school who is kind of an asshole. This is This is
Christmas.
Christmas. Yeah, kind of like Christmas. Oh, finally I found him. This is X Williams. So this is the brother of D Williams. This is X Williams. That's who I wanted to
I like
find.
him. He kind of looks like he could be a whole he could be like the supporting, like the wise guide sort of character.
Kind of like. Yeah, this is Zedra. This is Punkin over here. This is Squidoo. This is Gorilla Biscuits.
Oh God. Terrible. 5 minutes of Preddies. I hate this. Oh.
This is Driscoll.
I
this
like
is
his hat.
This is Porcile. What do you think of Porcile?
Oh my God. Is that like a? It reminds me of a like public bus, like a like public transit seat for some reason. I don't know why.
This is Gren. You know, very happy looking.
Is he in a parade?
No, this is like holographic stuff. This is Tidwell.
That reminds me. That reminds me of like this one face. It was like a moon, but a face in a Basinski painting for some reason. Like, or I don't know. It's got that like, what's that animation with the witch? The one movie, Coraline. She wasn't a witch, but like it's got a Coraline type of vibe to it.
Kind of like that. We're almost at the end. This is Lavenger over here, like a fairy dragon type with the tongue sticking out. Another tongue sticking out. This is Dricker, like a ghost, a fiery ghost type.
Wait, what about the portrait you did? Go
Which
up.
one?
That one, the one next to Dricker.
This one? I know this guy. This is
Oh,
a
yeah?
Burning Man guy. He heads up one of the Burning Man.
yeah, he kind of looks like he goes to Burning Man.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like
this
he
is
like
a-
drops acid and plays Dungeons and Dragons.
This is a Muslim gal that I drew.
Oh wow.
So this is Regret. I love the names that I give to some of these.
Kind of reminds me of me. I don't know why.
Oh, no, don't say that. This is
Same
V3
face.
Viper over here.
V3
This
Viper, V8 Viper, V8 Viper.
Yes,
That could be one.
this one over here. This is Hitori. I think it's the
He's
Japanese.
all wiggly.
Yeah, Wiggly Swiggly. This is Kamikata, another Pokemon like. Okay, so this is Diablo Goat. This is a very powerful creature. Diablo
It looks
Goat.
like the Lich. It's got like I guess the green eyes. That's like
Yeah,
probably-
exactly. It's like a staff, but it's like alive. This pink guy.
What
This
the
is
fuck?
Ern. This is Diablo Fez. So remember we saw the dragon
I
form
like
of
him.
Diablo
He looks
Fez?
like a crackhead. That's. He looks like he looks like a shrine, like a
Yeah.
Turkish crackhead. That's what he
Yes. And this is... Oh, by the way, I forgot to scroll the chat. My apologies. Guys, tell me when the chat is not being scrolled. My apologies. So over here, this is Hyman Roth. You know, like from Godfather Part 2, Hyman Roth.
God.
Played by Lee Strasberg. So this is Hyman Roth. See his eyes? His eyes are red. 'cause
Isn't
he's
Hyman
high.
Rothstein from somewhere? Or, no,
From,
not
uh,
Hyman.
So this is,
Think-
get it? He's a man and he is high. So you've seen Activated Snowman. This is Hurdle over here, a turtle with the tongue. This is Lip Master. He's got nice lips, you know, good enough to kiss you with. This is Old Habits. This is Lichtenstein. This is Diablo Boy. We've seen The Unforgiven, TM, and this is El Sakuro, another Mexican vibe over here. El Sakuro over here, very spicy creature. But to contrast the spiciness, this is Icer over here. This is Air Lancer. This is Sacrum over here, dragon creature. This is Incongru. Okay, we're almost at the end. This is Bertram. And this is Slonic.
You said that 5 times, Dad.
This is Slonic. What do you think? What do you think of?
I like him.
Good.
He looks like he could make like a whole like I don't know.
Is that like a
Like
variation of Sonic?
Of
Is
course
that like-
it is. Look
Yeah,
at
Weird
him. He's got
90s
the-
Sorry.
Autonomy. Oh my God! It is a variation.
Bullshit.
Oh man, totally ruined it. Totally ruined it.
Yeah,
Sanic. It's like Sanic.
This
Fellas,
is
I should probably
Solstice.
be heading off.
Well, then this is it. The last thing that I will show you.
Israel
Okay.
versus
And then, hold on, hold on.
Israel versus Meat Man.
Meat Man. Yeah, see, he's made out of meat. Then Snavid. Last thing I'm going to show you, I swear to God. Snavid, that's the first in the evolutionary line. Then we have Snollamon, who's like a snowman, and that evolves into Snow Sir.
Oh God.
Snow Sir. There we go. That's a holographic
This is astonishing,
art.
man. It's crazy. You feel like a huge
like bestiary of
Beastia.
of these like entities, you know.
Nice.
Well, if you want me to make more of these things, you have to invest in the Lev, you have to buy my NFTs, I'm going to be making a lot more of these, and I want to do more things with them. I want to make 3D models, I want to make these things into, like, figures that you can collect and buy.
Do you have
guys,
like a game?
Yeah.
Do you have like a game that they're actually, like, can you actually use them, like the health
could.
stats and stuff?
No, but this is just something that I did for fun, but
Yeah,
I guess you theoretically could. But it's like, I could definitely improve
You
the
can
graphics
make, like,
here.
I like
Bombs
that
out
though. I like that you're just kind of using like the Pokemon card or Digimon card as a kind of artistic template. Like you're
Yeah.
obviously getting a lot of mileage out of it
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I know it's a meme now,
Look
too,
at
the
her.
Pokemon
She's pretty
cards.
happy. This is a happy looking
yeah.
gal over here. So anyway, yes, Israel and Palestine. You want to go on that? I mean,
What
you
is your
already
most
know.
spiciest take, Yerk?
I don't really have a take on Israel versus
All right,
I'm not.
I'll
I'm not
tell
They
you-
bombed the Al Jazeera
educated
building.
enough.
That's
All right, you
that's
want a
pretty
spicy
based.
take about Israel and Palestine? I'll give you one. Those guys have been fighting since the Bible, since before the Bible,
Yeah.
and they're gonna keep fighting. And there ain't jack shit I can say that's gonna change their minds. So, I wish they could talk things out like that. Wouldn't that be nice? I wish we had gotten to the world of robot jocks. There was a movie when I was a kid called Robot Jocks, where all wars were fought by two guys in giant robots, and they would represent countries and duke it out, and that was how they would settle things.
Like Civ 5 or whatever it is.
What,
Yeah.
what do you think of my Halloween costume, by the way? Look at that.
It's like that Mexican Day of the Dead.
Well, those two are, but not me. I'm not really sure what I
He's
am.
some kind
here.
of Viking.
Viking skull.
Yeah.
But
Joey Diaz.
Hey, how you
So
doing,
yeah,
cocksucker?
I gotta get going and make some food for myself.
You better not
Speaking
be
of
eating
food,
ranch with those blue
you should-
cheese.
You should make food like this, like a frowny face, 2 cutlets and a sausage.
Oh my god.
Damn.
All right,
well,
guys, we're
we
gonna
gotta
be
you-
concluding this.
Yeah, we gotta
Yes.
get you on an actual BTR panel with well,
Oh, do
whenever
you know
we
who
have
this
a
is?
nice. Oh god.
Absolutely, we do. You don't recognize him?
Yeah, I had a great time. Thanks for having me on, fellas.
Yerk, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, brother. I would love to have you on BTR real soon. And by the
I'd
way,
love to.
this is Ari Shafir.
Oh, God.
Based Ari. Ari's. You want to talk about a fella who's based, who doesn't give a shit, who tell you exactly how he really feels at all times.
I just remember watching The Amazing Racist. It was like the biggest thing.
Oh, I had a
school.
truck driver. I was working a day job, and a truck driver pulled up and said, "Have you heard of this guy, the Amazing Racist?" And at that point, it had been done for like 5 years, and he just happened to have caught it. And I was like,
Come on,
"Oh yeah,
Mr.
that's Ari
Jefferson,
Shafir.
come
That's
close."
Yeah. Wow,
weren't
look
they
at my
from-
cat's
They're
pose.
from
Look
a
at that.
movie, right? Is that the ShamWow guy's movie?
Maybe, I'm not
I
sure.
think it was called like the LOL comedy movie. It was some goofy name. It's the sequel to the movie, the underground comedy movie. You know,
Oh,
yeah.
that movie. It's the ShamWow guy. The hey, ShamWow here. I got a movie.
Didn't he
for
go
you.
to prison for beating up a hooker or something like that?
I have no idea
Yeah.
if that's deep lore on that guy. I know he's a hell of a salesman and he enjoys a good joke. And for that reason, I like the guy. And he
All
made
right.
two
All right,
really
fellas.
crazy movies.
All right,
I'm
see
just
you,
gonna
my
say
friend.
goodbye.
Yeah, it was good
really,
meeting you,
really nice
Yerk.
chatting with you guys. Yeah, good
Yerk,
talking
thank
to
you
you, man.
so much.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
so much for being here, brother.
Please
I really
come back
and guys,
again.
please
My
follow
brothers.
Yerk. Please follow Yerk on Twitter, and I'm gonna post the link right after this. So please be sure to follow him.
Thanks,
One last
man.
thing before I end this, I just want to show you a picture of this girl. So this is an Amish girl, and this is a picture that I took while we were driving in the car in Lancaster County on vacation. Look at the way she's looking at me taking her.
Well,
picture.
because
You
you're stealing
captured
her
her
soul.
soul.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're stealing her soul. All right. Well, I gotta
All right,
go
fellas.
too, fellas. So
Yeah.
All
Thanks
right,
for
this
your
is it.
good chat.
I'm gonna promote you right now, so let me close this window over here, and now I'm going to go into Twitter, and I'm going to put up Yerk's Twitter and put it into the BTR chat. Please follow Yerk on Twitter right now. I appreciate the ever-loving heaven out of everybody here, Yerk and everybody. So now follow Masked, not Masked, but Mask.
Yeah, a
Different
masked
Twitter
bastard. A mask _bastard. The same as my Instagram, same as my TikTok. mask_bastard. And it's the exact same content. I don't give I might even post the one that supposedly got me in trouble. I don't care. I'll post anything. I'll go hog wild. All the people who block me, they're going to have to block me all over again. I'm coming for them. There ain't a celebrity on Twitter whose ass I won't roast. And I do the meme stream every afternoon.
Woo!
Twitch.tv/Charles Kahn. We're doing all sorts of wacky stuff. I post clips on my Twitter page. I had one of me vibing to Bubble Bobble that people seem to enjoy. I got way into... Because Bubble Bobble only plays one song. But it's a hell of a song. And I just got way into it.
Here it is. Charles Kahn Twitch. Please follow Charles Kahn on Twitch as well. And of course, Giovanni Panicietti. Bella, what are you working on this week, my friend?
Well, tonight I'm going to record something with Joel Davis. And
nice.
Hopefully I'm going to edit a video, just another painting video, on my YouTube channel. But last week I dropped the meme era chart video. So... yeah, that got some good traction, some good replies. But other than that, I'm trying to work better on writing. I'm trying to go back to writing more, so we'll see.
Excellent. Well, please follow Gio on Twitter and on YouTube. Here is his for new meme sincerity video. Please make sure you go in there and watch it right after this. Well, also, be sure to go into your bookmark. So, guys, this is what is happening this week. We have a very exciting week for all of you. So we are going to have Future of Governance, Liberty and Order. We are going to have Indian Bronson. We are going to have The Prudentialist. And we are also going to have World Economic Forum tech pioneer Mark Terrell and Garrett Jones, author of 10% Less Democracy, on this stream. It's happening, people, like it always happens, and we bring these people together like nobody ever does before. Nobody does this shit, and you know it. Nobody does this. Nobody does it like we do, and this is why we are gonna be going places. So next, that is not all. No siree. We are gonna have Argue My Position, Transhumanism. This is coming up right after this coming up on Thursday.
No, not again.
So when you say transhumanism, you don't mean trans, you mean like cyborgs.
Yeah, kind of like that. And that is going to be with...
But they could go together.
Sure.
It could be a fusion of like man and machine or...
No, I mean, the ideas like come from the same kind of like... they've sort of like grown around each other.
Secularized.
Is that why the programmer socks are a thing?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Programmer socks. And also here you could see the logo in its full glory. So this is the if you guys look at my camera.
Oh my god, the North FC. The North bot. And Chad is also a robot. That's amazing.
Yes. So we got transhumanist Chad and
As like an Anglo, I really love the way these weird like parochial bits of my experience have like found their way into like meme eternity.
North FC. Yeah.
Oh wait, are you from the north of England?
No, I'm not from the north. I'm from the south.
But he knows all about that.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Hello there, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why your accent isn't exactly like pure Queen's English, but it's got that like
And do you see what this robot says in the mouth? You see that?
What does it say?
It says nonce.
Oh
yeah.
The nonce destroyer bot 5000.
Yeah. It's like the simple as guy.
Yeah, simple as, yeah.
Exactly.
You what, mate? Oh, that's an ancient meme. You what, mate? I think
they didn't even say you what, mate.
Yeah, he didn't even say in that Jeremy Kyle clip. He didn't even say it. Yeah.
Have you got a license for that?
License, yes.
R.I.P. to the Jeremy Kyle show. I can't believe they canceled him. My God.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Remember he did that crossover with Steve? Did he do the crossover with Steve Wilkos or something? I forget. Yeah, that was him. He went to America once. That was big.
Jeremy Kyle. That's like how he kind of sounds. Like
yeah. They should send Steve Wilkos over to Britain now.
Does Jerry Springer do Jerry Springer, or is Springer doing something else?
Oh, he's still doing it, I think.
Because I know Wilkos is like he was a security guy.
Then he had his own show,
and now he's doing like
more edgy.
Yeah, he's doing like the Springer thing. Like he's going harder than Jenny Jones. Jenny Jones was the one back in the day.
Yeah.
Not to spin us off for another 5 minutes here, but the
Remember
Jenny Jones show is
the
crazy.
Gigi Allen interview with Jenny? Remember that one?
Yeah.
They're
I
really
own your
fucked up.
children.
They really fucked up British TV. There's one called "Can't Pay, We'll Take It Away," and it's just like
that one. Yeah!
it's so like fucked up, man. It's really
That's terrible.
yeah, it's grim. It's
That's-
just like fucking people's houses getting repossessed.
I think
It's like-
Angie Speaks, because she's from there too. She said it's like basically class warfare, the TV show.
Oh, it,
It's
it
like-
literally is. It literally
Wow.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's
Anyways,
right
we
about
should
that.
be wrapping this up.
Yes.
So I gotta go.
All right, I'm not going to be drawing anymore, so this is it. This is the end right now. Guys, follow this stream on... By the way, follow this stream on twitch.tv and follow... Just like right now, all the people who are here, go to twitch.tv/LevPolyakov and dlive.tv/LevPolyakov. We are simultaneously streaming this thing on both of these channels, so be sure to follow me there. So anyway, I'm going into the YouTube studio, as you know, because it takes time to actually turn this thing off. So then I'm going into live, and I'm clicking the button, and I'm going to turn this off. So guys, thank you so much for watching.
God bless
Once again, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.